Hello, everybody, and welcome to another match analysis stream. I'm Leviticus, and I'm here and very excited to have a guest with me today, BettyB. Betty is a mainstay in both the Dr. Mario Speedrun and Versus communities. She's a regular of the Speed Monthly and the Monthly Checkup tournaments, and she's earned her spot this year as a member of the immunity pool at the DRMC Championships by winning a regional tournament in Louisville, Kentucky. She's also a commentator, a Twitch streamer, and a lover of mom jokes. Betty, welcome in. How are you?
I am doing great, love. Thank you so much for asking me to join you in one of these analysis videos. Really looking forward to it today.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been looking forward to this as well. You're so enthusiastic about these. When we talked in Columbus, you
Mhm.
were like, yeah, you have to do these and you have to have guests on. And I was like, well, I've got to have Betty as a guest on. I know you love analysis and you love to
Mhm.
get deep into it, lost in the sauce. So I was really
Yes.
excited to have you on, and so we can talk about all this stuff. But before we get into that, there is the matter of some questions that I need to ask you. So
Uh-oh.
so we
I was prepared for this. I was prepared.
I do want to get into that as well. So first and foremost, since this is your first time here, I need to ask how did you get into Dr. Mario and how did you find the Dr. Mario community?
Yeah, so I got into Dr. Mario similar to how other people do. It was brought to me when I was younger. It was a puzzle game. It was just something to kind of dive into and played it with my sister quite a bit. And eventually kind of overtook her skill level. And then, as I was growing up, multiple people were like, isn't that the piss? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, I was pretty good at that. And I was like, you want to play? And then, the story always goes that you play with them and then they're like, oh, you're really good. And so you get that kind of inflated ego, like, how good am I? Am I really good? And so I always was trying to find that next opponent that could, put me in my place, sort of speak, and never found that until I ran across somebody playing Dr. Mario on Twitch. It's actually one of our community members, Flubs, late at night, I was just looking for something to watch and she was playing and her title said preparing for the monthly Dr. Mario tournament. And I was like, jaw to the floor, like, wait, there's a tournament. Okay, that's great. Now, how do I get in? And so just working slowly in on, okay, how do I do this? How do I ask her? I need to not be a creeper. So first I have to be here for a bit. And then I just asked her, and she was like, "Oh, here's all the information." And I've never looked back. I joined DRMC, and took me a few months of practice before I felt comfortable enough actually joining the speed tournament. But yeah, it's been great.
It's really interesting that you mentioned that you saw a Flub stream because I
I know.
guess my internal timeline to me I feel like you had come along. You've been in the community for a very long time, and I felt like
Mhm.
it had been before Flubs had been here. Do you recall what year you started playing in the Speed
I,
monthlies?
I believe it was 2020.
In 20,
I believe
really?
it was
Okay.
early 2020.
I I
Yep.
I vaguely remember hearing some story about Flubs practicing for the Dr. Mario tournament and then not actually
Hmm.
getting to play and then not actually playing for a very long time. So
Hmm.
if that's the case and you happen to come across her practice for the tournament she never got to play in, and that's what brought you to us, I think
Isn't that
that's
destiny?
that I
Right?
know, right? That's so crazy to me. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, and you've been playing in the Speed Monthlies ever since, and I love how a lot of people who are like, man, I just wanted to find a tournament before they even knew one existed. I love that
Hmm.
some people just have that kind of competitive spirit before they even knew there was an outlet for it. And it's taken you pretty far. You have been to the live events, I think, at least the last 3 years, maybe even in 2021. But this year was a little different because you and myself as well were both members of the immunity pool going into the annual DRMC championships in Columbus. We
Hmm.
both had to play our first qualifying round against some of the best players in the business. For anyone who doesn't know, if you win a regional tournament throughout the year, you were invited to be part of the immunity pool for qualifiers in Columbus at the big end of year tournament. And that means you get a chance at one of the best seeds in the bracket, which obviously gives you a big advantage going into the bracket stage of the tournament. And Betty was able to win one of those tournaments, as I mentioned at the top of the show there. And
And I was
she,
winning too, like yourself and Barrett. I was close to winning that that double win. But Kansas City was just out of my reach, and Flux decided to go off of no sleep and come and beat me. So
Oh man. Well, we are gonna. I was gonna ask you about that, but before that, I just wanted to know how you felt going into the tournament as part of the immunity pool. Obviously, different from previous years. Like, how did you have any feelings about that? Going into before you leading up to that tournament?
I will say one of the things that I always regretted in previous years was my standing. Like how we have the qualifiers set up, and it sometimes is dependent on who's in your pool. It depends on how many pills are left. Like it's a calculation, and we don't have to go into that here. But I always felt like my seed didn't necessarily actually tell the whole story of how well I do in versus. And so I was like, oh, this year I have the immunity pool. I can come out swinging. I can, get that seed that I feel like I not deserve, but have earned, and then start from there. Start from a leg up. That didn't end up being the case, as spoilers. Sorry for anybody who hasn't watched it yet, but you should. It's out there. So, but I worked my way into the top 48 anyway with getting into another pool, and so yeah, I was very confident going in of at least getting a good seed, and that didn't end up happening. So
But you really thought of it as a chance to maybe prove something, maybe to yourself more than anyone, as
yeah,
far as your
I would
standing.
believe that that is the case. Like I feel like I get a lot of people who are like, "You're really good." They give the. We're all really nice around here.
Oh
We'll
yeah.
all tell you how many good things that you do and maybe stuff that you can learn and stuff like that. But I've gotten so many good, positive, feedback that I was like, okay, I need to just do this for myself then, and that's where I was coming at it. So, yep,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, I definitely felt it was unexpected that I would even made it to the immunity pool or won a regional or anything like that. So I kind of felt like it was an accomplishment just to make it to the immunity pool, and whether win or lose, it was going to be something to that I could hang my hat about. That I could say I made it to this stage of the tournament that not many people get to.
yeah,
So that yeah, it obviously worked out well for me and I made it into the top seed and whatever, but I was just happy that I was even there, to be honest. And
it was so much fun.
yeah,
It
for
was so much
sure.
fun getting to start and playing with the people that were in the immunity pool, that I was like, it's just going to be great to get to play them, because you're not going to normally see them unless you go deep through the tournament. And so just getting to, get those games in with those people at that high level, it's great. I wouldn't, change anything with the immunity pool at all, just getting to play that firsthand. So
Yeah, the just the chance to play against some of the people in the immunity pool, like Packy, I got to play against him, and it was a nice little run back that I think we were both
mhm.
excited to play from Texas. And if that hadn't been the case, if we hadn't met up in immunity pool, we never would have played in the tournament. I don't think we never ended up seeing each other again after that. And I
Yeah,
got to play Swong, who had never played before, and Ibar, who had never played before. Got to run back
funny
against Pangolin.
story.
Like these are all great players and good matches that you get to play right off the bat. And obviously that's a little daunting when you consider that this is like meant to be your qualifying round in the
Right?
tournament. Like these games matter. It's not just all fun and games, but it was nice to get those games in against people, and I think people enjoy seeing that too. So I don't know if there's going to be a immunity pool again next year. It hasn't really been announced or anything yet, nor have the regionals for next year. But do you think? I mean, I assume you'll be in attendance in any regionals that are local to you, if that you get the opportunity.
Possibly some that allow me to travel a bit, because that's one of the things that's
Oh,
so
okay.
cool about the regionals is like, if they work in my schedule, I want to go to them. I don't care if they're in Connecticut or in Phoenix or California even. Like that's just one more reason to get to go and go to those places and see my friends.
Yeah, so that's actually I was kind of not expecting that answer. I mean, I know that you went to Kansas City and Louisville, which are both relatively close to you, I believe. But you'd really want to make the trip to another place in the U.S. If you even if there was a lot of travel involved, you'd be interested in doing that. You'd be excited to do
I mean,
that.
it takes the travel to go to Torg as well, so, like,
That's
I
true.
don't think the travel is a deterrent for me, to be able to play. Now, that said, if I knew that there was a regional that was closer rather than farther away, I definitely would, just take the drive instead of maybe a, 8-hour plane trip, or I don't know how long it takes to get to places. So, uh, but I would definitely go more local, but nothing's out of contention for me going to a regional.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, for me, every regional, whichever one I go to, is going to be a travel experience just by
Mhm.
default, coming from Canada. But that's one of the things I really valued a lot about those going to those events is that I made whole trips out of it, and I got to see people I don't get to see, and
Mhm.
experience things I'd never experienced, and go places I'd never been, and the tournament was sort of like it was sort of built around this excuse to go there. It was this tournament, and the travel experience is something I probably valued the more than anything from going
Right?
to regionals. So yeah, I'm really happy to hear you say that. I mean, obviously, if you live in the states and you have one close to you, then it's kind of a no brainer that that's the one you can go to if you can only do one of them. But
Mhm.
yeah, I would encourage anyone to just go to regionals for the travel experience, especially because I have heard whispers. You mentioned SoCal. I've heard whispers that maybe that's a thing that might happen. I don't actually know anything. Full disclosure, I'm not privy to any of that stuff. But
Me neither.
if there was, that's definitely a place I'd like to go, and because I know there's a lot of people in the California area that play Dr. Mario. There's a lot of active players there that traveled all the way to Columbus, so it'd be nice if they had a regional that was closer to them because I think we didn't really see too many of them outside of some of the Northwest regionals that we had this past year. And I think if you had one in SoCal, you could get a lot of people, a lot of names you don't normally see at these regionals, and
Mhm.
it could be a pretty exciting event, I think. So
And
hopefully,
I think you've actually mentioned something about, like, where are the players that we haven't seen before? And similar to my story
mm,
of how I found DRMC, like, I wasn't a slouch when I came here. So where are those people? Like Pangolin, perfect example.
yeah,
Up until this year, no one knew of her skill in this game, and she's one of the best. So just where are those people? We need to find them with a regional, and I think as we grow or as we continue to find different locations to bring this game to light, we're going to find more of those people that will put us to the test.
for sure. And I think Southern California is the place to do it. I mean, whether you're familiar with other gaming communities or not, it feels like no matter what game you choose that has a competitive side to it, there's always a top player from Southern California
Yeah,
and a bunch of good people there. I don't know what it is about SoCal that breeds
yeah.
these like top level players in literally whatever take your pick game. But I gotta believe there's some still hidden talent brewing there. So if you had a regional in SoCal, and we got all the regulars and some unknowns, yeah, I think it could be really like the closest regional to like a to the Columbus Championships that we have. Really a mini tour. I think people would be willing to travel to
Mhm.
something like that. I think it could be really exciting. So fingers. Don't want to get my hopes up too much here, but yeah. I was going to ask you, I guess obviously California is one place you'd like to go. Is there anywhere else in the States, and seeing as you're so keen to travel, any particular states, like, nothing, just pie in the sky, within the continental US, obviously. But,
Aw, you just took
well,
away.
I mean, why not? We could say anywhere. Is there a place in the world you think would be cool to have a regional outside of the US?
Honestly, bringing it to Canada would be so stinking cool, and, like, it would get me maybe off my butt to go get a passport and,
Oh,
like,
wow. Yeah.
traveling there. I think it would be so cool to see all you guys up there. You always have to come down and visit us. Like, bring a Dr. Mario to Canada, and you guys will show up, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I know a lot of the Canadian players that or would be extra down to do something like that. I certainly would, for sure. Is there any states though in the U.S., any places in the U.S. maybe you haven't been that's maybe more
Oh, I
realistic to
always
have a regional?
the North. Wait, Northeast. Sorry, like where Maine is, and New York. New York would be really cool. Anywhere up there, and then anywhere on the coast. So, like, let's go down to Florida. Let's get crazy.
Oh
Let's
wow, a
bring
Florida
the
regional,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm sure Ook would be open to that idea. Yeah, Florida regional, that'd be cool. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but just any of those places, and I again, anywhere is available. I haven't traveled a lot, but I am so open for it. So
That yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, interesting. I never thought of Florida, but it's a state I've never been to. I'd be down for sure. Moving away from versus a little bit, you are going to be playing in the year-end speedrun championships coming up this weekend, so I'd be remiss not to mention that, given how close and it is. And then you'll be playing in the monthly checkup, I believe.
oh, I don't know. I
You
haven't
haven't signed up yet, but as far as I'm aware, if your track record is
Mhm,
indicates anything, you'll be playing about less than 2 weeks after that.
mhm,
And it seems like you switch between speed running and versus pretty often. Um,
mhm,
on a regular basis, going from speed monthly to monthly checkup and back again, and then regional, and then more speed running. And you stream a lot of speed running as well. Do you
mhm.
find that difficult to do? Do you feel like it affects your game at all to do that, or do you feel like this is just like a skill that you've developed?
So I'll answer that in two different ways. The first way, yes, it is difficult to make that switch quickly and effectively. But I will say that the more I do it, the better I'll get at being able to kind of have those two modes, I think. But also I wanted to answer it in the way of I think that's what's helped me advance my skill. And we always talk about, like a lot of versus players are now trying to say like, oh, I need to get into speed, I need to figure out how to get faster at my moves. And like cat pants, perfect example of somebody who initially started playing versus, started playing the speed, and I've seen, a ton of growth in their versus play because of, maybe because of that, or maybe because of something else, but it correlates that, when you start seeing the speed side of things, that versus sometimes gets enhanced with it. So
Hmm. It sounds like you mean you mentioned that doing both and switching between both has really elevated your skill. It sounds like you
mhm,
mean more in like a long-term way, but do you feel
yes.
that in the short term it can be difficult or cause issues or maybe not allow you to play at your full capacity as opposed to if you just stuck to one discipline over the other?
Yes, I do believe that it sometimes does cause those issues where, because while you're playing the same game, there's different modes in your brain of what constitutes a good move. In verses, you don't necessarily mind if there's a little bit of drop time in order to have a big combo. Whereas, in speed, that drop time counts. And so there is a lot of things that you kind of have to shut off when you're doing one versus the other. And a perfect example of this, I don't know if you keep up on the speed side of things, watching the monthly and stuff, but in the October monthly, you could see I was fully in versus training mode. I was setting up combos that didn't need to happen. I was, playing very horizontally that didn't really need to occur just to set it up. And so it was written all over my game style of what I was actually focused on at that time.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I guess that was just in preparation for Columbus.
Mhm.
Um, do you feel like you have a favorite in terms
Oh,
of discipline versus or speed?
Yeah, so I'm pretty open about the my love of versus and of the combo play that it brings, and so yeah, versus has always had my heart from when I started playing to even now. Like I was like, oh, the tournament is not versus. When I first started, it was speed, and so as they gradually had other opportunities to do the versus, I hopped all over it, and I was super excited to see that they DRMC also offered that.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, I personally, I used to be into speed a lot, and now I've really moved over to versus over the last couple of years. That's really
Mhm.
been my focus, and I think I'm just where I'm gonna stay because ever since 2022 in Columbus, that's been uh, just what I've wanted to focus on and what I wanted to do, and make any kind of content about or anything like that. So I definitely have a favorite too, but I just kind of wanted to put you on the spot and make you pick a favorite
Oh,
publicly. But yeah,
Yeah,
I know you're.
I'm not I'm not shy about how I love that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I wish we would see more verses on your stream, to be honest. I know we see every time I tune into your stream, we see speed running, and I'm like, Betty, that's not verses. Come on.
Oh,
But I
I
know it's not as easy to find an opponent when you could just boot up speed and kind of just play on your own. You don't have to rely on that.
and you know what's so funny is the people that come in, they're wanting to see my verses too, and I
Mm,
feel like the reason why I don't is twofold. One, I don't get to chat with people as often because I'm really dialed in and focused. Whereas
mm-hmm,
with speedrunning, I feel like I can actually like look at chat and figure and actually correspond with everybody through
mm-hmm, and
chat.
interact. Yeah.
Yeah, interact. But in terms of otherwise, I get real serious about verses, and probably that is where my competitive spirit is too.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I don't normally like to necessarily show that side of me too much,
Okay.
because I do get super serious about it.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. But one other thing that we see on your stream a lot is a lot of jokes. I mean, you guys, your community streaming community is great. You guys, I've been in there plenty of times over the years, and you guys, well, I mean, it really starts with you as the streamer, but even just your community is really all in on the humor. Mom jokes, as I mentioned, is a big thing. We had to do some mom jokes for audio testing a little earlier. But some other jokes that we see, a lot of memes about what the B in Betty B stands for. But I was wondering if you could tell us what, to be serious for a moment, if that's possible. What the B in Betty B really stands for.
I am a huge lover of Betty Boop, which is a older generation cartoon. Um, she started off as animated by Max Fleischer, animated as a dog and turned into a human. Just you know, just a wonderful cartoon that when I first went to a place called Ground Round, I don't know if anybody knows it. It was a carnival themed restaurant when I was a kid, and they had a huge screen full of old timey cartoons, and I fell in love right then and there with Betty Boop. So the B in Betty B stands for Betty Boop. So, and the G's, of course, is actually playing games, and that is what I love. I love all types of games, board games, video games. I do crossword and stuff like that. So any games on the table, I love them all.
Okay, wow. I always kind of wondered about that. I knew what the B stood for, but I was yeah, it just it's something that's thematic on your stream as well. It's a big part of your whole theme and brand and all that.
Mhm.
But I didn't really know where it came from. It was just a childhood nostalgia kind of thing. I mean, it's even kind of before your time, really. It's pretty old, right?
It very much is. It's from the 1930s. I am not that old. It was something that has continued on with me. I'm a collector of sorts for that sort of Sarah's laughing. But yeah, it's I collect items with Betty Boop. It's kind of stuck with me as a childhood nostalgia type thing, and to where I have a pretty big collection of items with her on it. So
Nice. And it became your moniker now, and I couldn't imagine you as anything other than Betty, so that's
I
worked
love
out pretty well for you, I guess. Yeah.
it.
Well, I think that's just about all I had, but I don't know if there was anything else that you wanted to chat about. Any shout outs before we move into some analysis?
Well, I see her in chat, so shout out to Sarah, who was my first ever kind of versus sparring partner. It didn't last long, but it was long lasting of the impact that had getting to play with her on Switch and Fightcade. We would throw down. I don't know if you remember this, Love, but this was really early on in the monthly when she was actually playing with them, and we had one of the best uh, versus matches. Savage and you actually did the
I
analysis
was
of
gonna
it.
say I do remember it,
Yeah,
and that's why I remember it. Yeah.
and it was just like because you talk about one of the things from Torg where you and Luke got up to the 70 speed. If Sarah and I did not get up to 70, we were pretty darn close to it in that game, and still making combos like I don't even know how we did it. So that was a really great game, and that's a nice memory to bring up. So
Yeah, I love talking about this kind of stuff. I know you love talking about this kind of and going deep, getting lost in the sauce on these sort of
mhm.
topics. So let's get into some analysis and see
Okay.
your match here. So we're gonna be watching your winners round 3 match against Pangolin from the most recent monthly. And I actually kind of offered to you when I asked you to come on to pick a match that you wanted to analyze. Is there any reason you picked this one?
Yeah, well, I think there was like a shift in my play style. So I think we can see what not to do, maybe, as well as what to do. And that's why this one went to a decider. And you'll see, I mean, this is spoilers, but again, go check out the monthly checkup on YouTube if you haven't already, and watch this. But this is 2 crowns to Pangolin, and then I will come back and actually win the next three. And so that's where the shift happened in the play style, I feel. And so I think this will be a good way of talking about what not to do as well as what to do for everybody.
Okay. Did you think that like do you think you had a conscious shift in play style when
Yeah,
you were playing this match? Like you actually
but I
felt
think
like
it
you
was
changed things up on purpose and
I
that
think it was
made the
mental.
difference?
Yeah, I think it was mental first, and then the play style shifted because of that. So I think it was definitely
Mm,
a mental game at first, and then as I was getting into the third crown, I made that mental shift, and then things started. I started remembering how to play.
okay.
so
Fair enough.
we might see that. I might be able to actually pinpoint the exact moment too.
Yeah, well
So
we'll certainly look for that and talk about it if we see any examples of that. I'm just going to generally play through the video here. As what I usually will do for these is just go through. We're not going to talk about every single move because we know we all have lives to get to eventually, and we don't want to be here all night. But I generally try to look for moments that I think are important and worth talking about, and and then I'll pause and we'll talk about it and analyze it. I'll give you my take, and you can let me know what you think and all of that. If you see anything that that jumps out at you that you want to talk about that I don't notice or that I don't stop at, feel free to speak up and let me know, and we can pause and go back to what you were looking for, and we can talk about anything. I definitely don't catch everything worth speaking on, so feel free to let me know if you want to go back and talk about something in any of these crowns here.
me speak up, love. Absolutely, I
Great.
will do.
Silly question. Okay, perfect. Well, that's good. So Betty's going to be on the right, as you can see there at the top right. So that's who we're going to be focusing on. I might make references to Pangolin's board at certain points just to talk about like how far ahead or behind you might be at any given
Mhm.
moment. But we're mostly just going to be looking at Betty's board. So I'm going to start this up. We're going to look at the opening move, as we often do here. So this is red blue start. I think it's pretty obvious. I don't think there's
Yeah,
really much to talk about. We're just gonna do a red blue like that. Is that pretty much what you're thinking?
yeah. I
I
think that's the straightforward move. I don't think I would see anything different.
Yeah, I don't think there's much else to discuss. Now that might change with the next couple pills, but on the first one, I think that's what I'm looking at too for sure. Let's get into this opening a bit. Oh, well, you're gonna get this combo obviously, but this yellow red I thought was interesting. Is this just to set up the horizontal once this is gone? Is that the idea?
Hmm.
Okay, that makes sense. This red is really unfortunate because it's not going to connect with anything, but um, I don't really see a good spot for it other than that. Unless,
Well, and
well,
I'm looking at what Pangolin decided to do, and I don't know if that would have been any better because that constitutes the drop time there for her. Because the red also still has no utility where she put it,
right.
and so like I don't know which one's better. But in both cases we went for the same exact place.
Yeah, well, I mean, in your case, you have 3 yellow. You make a group of 3, and she's just setting up a group of 2 here. She will have a space to put red blues, like something like this, if she gets any more of them. But I mean, you're set up to just sort of bring this row down and make your way a little further down.
Well,
This opens up these
actually,
blues too, right? So I think that your move is pretty good, actually.
and what you can also do is, seeing that it's a blue yellow there, you can start setting up for a T clear with, putting the blue blue yellow on top of 5 6 with the blue on top of
Oh,
five,
wow.
and so
Okay.
then you can start setting up for the T. And I look for those probably way more often than I should because it gets me into trouble. Because as you can see, that blue is not going to do any utility either. So I I sometimes get myself into some bad playing, what trying to look for T's way too often.
Well, I mean, I think looking for teas is important, but um, at the expense of your board health, maybe not.
Yeah.
Especially if, like, I mean, if you have no better place to put a pill, then moves like that are totally fine. But it's all contextual. It totally depends on what the situation is. So maybe
Hmm.
there's certain times where you could have been making safer moves and you're doing it. We'll see. We'll see when we get there. But you're about to receive some garbage, the both of you. So let's see what you get here. You make the safe play that I was going to suggest with that yellow blue, not what you were, well, not what you were suggesting earlier. So
Right.
I think maybe it's very early on in the match, so maybe you're just not feeling yourself quite enough yet. We'll see if you get
Right.
there. But this garbage gives you the opportunity to do it, so you just take it. And yeah, I don't see anything else to do with those reds, and you get the drop cross of your dreams.
Yes, I love them. But I see myself also. Oh, look at that, another
Wow,
L clear.
yeah.
I love it. I just when I see that they could possibly be set up, it's just I go for them.
Oh, for sure. And I like that you set up for this yellow horizontal here. I was just going to mention that when the garbage fell up here, this is probably a high priority thing to go for, and you saw it right away and you went for it, so that's perfect.
Hmm.
But we'll see after that how things go, because your board looks pretty clean as of right now. That blue garbage is not great. But you're actually doing a really good job of finding combos and sort of just dealing with these bad situations that the garbage is putting you in. And yeah, you're
Yeah,
just
this.
finding combos that out of bad situations. That was really interesting that you
Hmm.
you passed up a double combo here.
Yeah, I was just
Was that
noticing that,
intentional?
and I don't believe. I mean, it was intentional at the time, I'm sure, but it I don't know why.
Fair
Maybe
enough.
because I was seeing the horizontal, that maybe I was seeing there was something with the double yellow that I could have tried to clear that trash that was in column 6, I think. Like maybe
Like
I
over
have no
here.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So
yeah, I mean, and you will get a placement. Oh, well, I mean, that'll take it out. So you'll instead do this. But even
yeah.
if that garbage hadn't cleared this away, if you'd taken what I assume you were looking for, which was this vertical here, this isn't actually a cross or a combo or anything. So that's, I guess, my biggest criticism of it is just that
Yeah.
we passed up on a combo opportunity. Which, given the state of Penguins board, I mean, we should be
I
taking any
think
combo we can. Although that's pretty generally a good thing to do.
again, I think I see too far in advance. Like I'm always thinking of the moves because I see that blue on top of 8, and then I see that that yellow can has that red that can be cleared and then be taken horizontally. Uh, do you see what I'm saying?
You're talking about the reds here, the
The red in column 7, the trash red. So if I clear that red out, now I have a horizontal yellow where that blue will now drop where it needs to be. And
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
yes. And so again, I see these things and then I get so hyper focused. I think that's one of my main detriments is when I see a clean that I could get in order to advance my board and not have to like clear away the trash, so to speak. Um,
Hmm.
I end up getting focused on trying to make that happen instead of playing the board better.
Yeah, that's fair. I was gonna say my biggest issue is that we're getting really fancy for something that doesn't get us a combo even.
Right?
That's really
Yes.
the issue that I have with that idea. Like, it makes sense, and if it's a speed run, then that would be totally fine because who cares? But
Yeah.
when you're in versus and you have an opponent who's gonna be dropping garbage on you, the odds you're
Mhm.
gonna get through that whole plan without being interrupted is really low, unless
Yep.
you make combos at the same time, right? So
That is something I mark as, trying to work on.
yeah.
I'll get there.
Yeah, exactly. But let's see how you play it after you get this, because at the very least, this does clear a lot of things out. The board health looks pretty good. Um, We are making a lot of horizontals here that aren't really making any combos, but we're going to get a double here finally, so that's good. And
And
now we're
yeah,
just without
after
blue, which is unfortunate, yeah.
watching Snipes analysis of like don't take any single clears, I watched this back and I was like, that's all I was making. Is I was just trying to get through this board quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, to be fair, I mean, I don't know if Snipe actually meant like never take a single clear, and it's
Right.
possible he did, but if so, I do kind of push back on that idea a little bit. I think single clears are fine, but they have to really have a purpose behind them, and I think the bar for what's an acceptable empty clear is way higher in versus than it is in speedrunning, because if you're going to give up a potential combo opportunity, then you better be like massively correcting your board health or doing something that's like really efficient, like clearing 3 viruses with a single pill or something like that. And as long as it's not like making your board jagged or uneven or something, then that's probably fine. But yeah, you also don't want to be wasting time making these big setups that don't actually net you a combo or anything like that, and just end up being empty. That's definitely, if it's quick and it doesn't cause drop time and it's efficient, then empty clears are fine. But if you're wasting too much time just to not ever get a combo, that's when it's an issue. I think that's what he's saying. Like, don't get in the habit of it. And
Yeah.
yeah, unless you're making really big progress on the board, really efficient progress, or you're having to do it for the sake of safety or board health or something like that.
Now, one of the things, just to put that in like my words, I think I look for single clears that will give me access to more colors. So that,
Hmm.
that's one of the things I'm always looking for. I have all yellow on my top line. If I just clear this yellow without a combo, now I can get into my blues and reds or what have you. And so I'm always looking for those, and I'll take those single clears in a heartbeat, regardless of it not being a combo. So I'm always looking for color diversity on my board too.
Yeah, and that's a consideration too. Just having access to all the different colors and having spaces to set up combos for all of your potential split pills that you might get and stuff like that, for sure. So that's, it's there's this is why this game is so difficult, and where the skill ceiling comes from is that there's so many different situations where a single clear or an empty clear might be appropriate or it might not,
Mhm.
and it's all based on context, and you just have to
Yep.
be able to decipher all of that and execute it um, in the moment at as fast as possible. So
Hmm.
yeah, like it's I don't like talking about absolutes like that where it's just like never empty clear, right? It's just it's everything's contextual in this game, I've found. But
Hmm.
yeah, let's continue on here. So that's, I think that, like, for that was an empty clear you just made on the right. I think that's perfectly defensible. Just because you didn't have much better spot to do it. I think maybe you could have had a better place if you had just maybe cleared off like this to even things out, or even if you just put it here just to sort of even things out that way. But this isn't really like that bad compared to those options. They're all kind of about as good. This clears out a virus. It's not really in breaking a setup. Like, this yellow blue situation is probably not going to be able to. You're not going to make like a double out of this unless you get really creative. So it's probably fine to just do stuff like that. And if you're doing this rather than hesitate over where you should put it, then I think something like that's totally fine.
Now go forward one frame because a piece of trash that Pangolin does actually send over gives a possibility for a fat log with that. Well, no, I guess the yellow also dropped because I was thinking the double yellow was there, and I could have placed that in 3-4 and then the red on top of it, but then the trash would have taken it away anyway. But um,
Yeah,
so disregard.
fair enough. Fair enough. And then we get even more garbage, and this isn't great. And then, oh, that's really
Yep.
devastating to put this here. I mean, I guess once you get this garbage here, obviously we didn't want to see that because that blocks up all the plans that we had. I mean, this next pill is probably just taking a combo, but beyond that, I think we're just prioritizing like any double red we get is going right here to just
Hmm.
open this up. It makes a setup and will let us continue on with what we were doing. But I'm assuming you're just going to take the combo here in a second once you drop this double yellow. Yeah, perfect. And getting some combos just to keep things going. Oh wow! So there was another horizontal there that was just kind of like not netting a combo. I mean, you were going for it, and then the double red
Mhm.
came along and kind of ruined that idea. Like we would have loved to have another blue yellow right before this pill, and then you could have had a double or something like that. And you don't have
I'm not very patient when it comes
yeah.
I don't like
Yes.
that in other places that then that double blue came along and then I could have taken it and gotten a combo out of it. And so it's very hard for me and that's my human side of like I just want to clean it up.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think you have a much better like you could have put it like you could make arguments to put it like in like here or in column 1 or something like that, and then you have like a setup going. But then if you get blocked, like it's a whole thing. You could hold,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, it could be correct to hold out on this and maybe do something, a move like this, purely just so that you can get a combo when you finally do clear it. But
Mhm.
I mean, it's just one of those things where it's really close. It's hard to say. The one thing that is unfortunate with this move is that, like, actually, no, you still have red setup, and you actually have good setups for red, blue, and red, yellow. So I think it at least leaves you in a good position to get combos in a couple pills from now, even if
Mhm.
you had to give up something in the moment rather than try to hold out and then it gets blocked by garbage and now you're at the top of the board. That can be dangerous. So,
Now I'm
um,
hoping that I put this blue in column 1
column
actually.
one, okay.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
just because or in 7, 7, 8, like flat on 7, 8.
Uh,
Just so I don't know.
I think
I'm
even you
hoping.
could put it like just as an empty clear here, just because one, it doesn't really make a setup at all, and this does sort of even things out. I would hate to see a piece of garbage land up here because now things get
Mm,
really interesting. Well,
yeah.
not interesting, very, very dangerous and sketchy actually. So, um, yeah, I think you could definitely do that. Uh, One is okay too, but it's just making things more uneven. And then if you don't end
Mm,
up clearing it away and you forget about it, and then you get garbage up here. Now you're risking your column on the side. It's just could lead to issues there. So
true.
yeah, this. Oh, and you do this. Like my only issue there is now we don't have a red blue setup, but I guess you could do one here. It's kind of shared with the red yellow, I guess, but um, you might make
And
one
the
here with
double
this
red
double
helps
red
with that.
anyway, so that
Yeah.
works. Well, we get an empty clear out of that as well, but we'll finally get a double after that, and things are looking pretty decent.
Dang.
You lose,
I was waiting for that job clear for so long for her to just like,
take it
gonna throw you
away.
some trash. Let me take
Yeah,
that away.
exactly. Yeah, I always like to try to get like that's why I don't favor big fancy setups, just because they can get disrupted really, like, so with something like this, and then it feels like you've wasted a lot of time. It's a risk reward thing. It doesn't mean you should never do it or anything like that, obviously.
Play style love.
Play style, but you're right. I hope this red blue goes on to 1-2 over here. That's my
We'll
hope.
see.
My hope
I
and
don't
dream
know.
for you.
I've been. Oh my god.
Oh, well, okay. Well, you obviously you were thinking way bigger brain than me. Um,
I
but
don't know about that. That red yellow should have been flopped the other direction if I was big braining it.
that's true. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I wasn't thinking quite that far yet. Because you did get the fat log, and I'm sure nobody is going to um no one's gonna be on my side, but I feel like if we just go back a second, like if you got enough blue reds, if you had just put it like this, we could have done blue red again, and then we could have even maybe had like blue yellow or blue red. Like, I mean, it doesn't really matter what the other half of this last pill is. It could have been anything. But that would have left you in a better position if you can imagine
Yeah.
how the board would have looked compared
Mm-hmm.
to what ended up actually happening. And
Because that was
obviously,
an empty fat log too. Like that,
true.
no
Well,
viruses were cleared with that.
yeah, that's true. I mean, anything empty, like an empty combo, is totally fine to me in versus. I think for the most part, at most stages of the game, it's by default, it's just kind of a totally fine thing to do. A productive thing to do even. It would have been nice if this red yellow was the other way though. Then you would have got a triple, and it would have
And
left
I think that
things
was my
way
intent.
nicer.
I think that was
Yeah.
my intent. I will say during this match, I was a bundle of nerves because I was not playing my best this monthly. So I know that going up against Penguin, she was putting up some really good games. So I was feeling the nerves these matches as well.
Yeah, especially after her performance in Columbus, I think anybody would. I mean,
Yeah.
she's really
Well, I
proved
played with her
herself this
before.
year.
I knew what I was getting into, but definitely, she was uh, playing really well this month, and I knew I had to put up my A game.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. Spoiler alert, you did outplace her, so but yeah, but no, but she was playing really well, and but I'm just, if there's anyone who should feel confident playing against someone like Pangolin, I feel like it would be you. So, let's continue on there though,
Yep.
and see how we recover from this red yellow situation. Oh, whoa, that's ambitious. You just saw the red underneath, and you just had to do it. You just had to.
Yeah.
You were just I mean, if you get a double yellow, this is like the most genius move in the world. But
Right.
if you don't, then it's a huge issue. Like if we ever I don't know, like if you just never get it and you're holding out on it forever, this is just going to sit here until garbage falls on it and it's going to be a bad time. Um
That's that focus play that I'm telling you about, love. That's something I definitely need to work on, and I've been attempting to do so with, taking in critiques from a lot of your analysis videos and other people
yeah,
talking
for
about
sure.
their play. So
Mhm. And I mean, to be fair, there's not really a great spot other it's not like there was some obvious position to put this other than the move you made. It's not like there's a great spot anyway, but Um, I'm just not. I mean, I don't think anyone really is a big fan of like these double dependencies, especially when like a tuck like this, where you really have no choice. You cannot even like manufacture a double or something to drop it into a horizontal like that. So I've done to be in your defense, I've done this myself before. I've put myself in these positions, and sometimes it's paid off and sometimes it haven't. It hasn't, but I think the conventional wisdom would be never to do this, pretty much,
yeah.
unless you're feeling real risky. Uh, but yeah,
But I think that's far enough down that, even if that is there for a bit, it's still, I can maneuver around it. And there's other things that I can do around the board, even if that stays there for a bit.
Yeah, that's fair. And if we were, I might really be genuinely on board with that if this was not NES, where the doubles are half as likely. Like if we're playing SNES, maybe that's
Yeah.
totally fine. Like you're just as likely as anything else to get. But given that we're playing NES and we know that the doubles are less frequent, and you can be dreaded on them for a very long time. I just never like putting myself in any setup where I'm depending on something that might not
Hmm.
come for a while. So yeah, I mean, if we get, I hope we get the double yellow now. Now that you've done it, we have to commit to this.
Crossing
So
fingers. Yeah.
yeah, or we could just make a red blue stack on the top. That works too. But this is sort of what I was afraid of. Is like now we're really committed, and it's made the board very very uneven. And if we don't get the double yellow now, there's a good chance that it's going to get covered up in the center here just out of necessity because we're just going to not have space to put stuff. So I hope
Yeah, if
that
I was super, super committed, I would put this blue yellow down in column 5 and have my yellow already set up
yeah, and
if I
honestly,
was
that
super,
might
super
be
committed.
a good way to sort of bail us out of this situation, because now things are getting to the
Oh.
point where is this what you were thinking, or
Oh, no, I was thinking in column 5. So having that yellow already
oh,
set
I
up.
see what you're saying. No,
Yep.
you were going even deeper into
Yeah, like I said,
you're just digging yourself an even
if
deeper
we're
hole.
doing this, we're doing this.
No, I was thinking we could do this, and then it would just set you up for the yellow
That's
horizontal. You
beautiful.
would not need to get a double anymore, and you know, given that we gave it a couple pills, we gave it the college try, but now it's time to
I love
just
that move.
be
I would
reasonable
not
and
have seen that.
try. It's not great either. It causes a lot of drop time, but it does get us out of this situation that we're now in, especially given that now we can't even clear the red blues off the top. We just kind of have
Yeah.
to set ourselves up to try to do this. I mean, we could put the blue yellow here and then set up for it, and then if we get a blue yellow, now it's a combo. So maybe that's even better than my idea, to be honest.
Now, what I'm
Um,
hoping I'm not doing is putting it in two,
two,
three
three,
with the
yeah.
yellow. Yeah, I do. We'll see.
Well, if
I was
if the pill after this is double yellow, then that's not too bad. I mean, that's
if I can maneuver it over, but at this point, we've already been seeing quite a few pills, so the
yeah.
speed kind of gets
Well, we'll
up
see.
there.
Let's see what you end up doing with this Veil of Blue. Okay, you just put it straight down, and that's fair too. But now we're real committed to this idea, and we get the double yellow, and now we can't even use it because, like I said, we had to end up blocking it off out of necessity. Yeah, but I mean, we're gonna unblock it now, but we missed our window to
Yep.
execute this idea. So I'm really hoping, we'll get a triple, and that's good. I'm just really hoping that we bail ourselves out of this before, we let it sit here for the rest of the game. That's good too. You got this double, and now we don't even need the double yellow. So this is gonna hopefully open things up. Ideally, we'll put like a blue yellow underneath,
Of
but this
course,
this
it gets
garbage, of
blocked
course,
again.
will block it in. So now, I mean, again, really hoping we just call
Slide
it
it in.
here and we just
Yeah.
admit our mistake and play around
No,
it.
never.
Okay, we sort of do it. That's fine. And now you're doing the thing, so that's great. And you'll get a double here. And now we actually have a chance to clean this up. But in the meantime, like we've spent so much time waiting on this now that now the right side has started up.
Mhm.
This is why I was saying like I don't love setups like that because
Mhm.
if you're especially against an opponent like Pangolin, they're not going to give you time to get wait all day for this double yellow to come. They are going to keep the pressure on you. They're going to put garbage down. They're going to force you and even if the garbage itself doesn't block it directly, it's just going to pressure you enough where you're going to have to block it yourself. And
Yeah.
then this is sort of how like you were quite ahead, and now you're pretty much even with Pangolin, maybe even a little behind, because of this whole sequence. I feel like so. You said it was something you're working on, and I know that you know this. Uh,
Yes.
there's a
And
reason that you have the tournament results that you have because I think you can see this sort of thing, but in the moment it's so difficult to resist your instinct to do these
oh,
kinds of
believe me, I
moves.
know.
Yeah.
And everybody in chat knows too. Like people people look at my style and they sometimes they ask the question, "What?" like and I ask that after the fact. Like I go back and watch my matches and I'm like, "What was I even thinking?" But you're, what you just said in the moment, that's what you see first. And
Hmm.
it's training yourself to see the best move more often. Like
Yeah.
not making those moves that put you in that tough spot.
Yeah, I
So,
think improving is mostly training your instinct, and that's sort of should be the takeaway from analysis like this is not that, oh, you should be thinking, following this exact train of thought we're having
yeah,
in a real game because we have forever. I paused the game. Like we could sit here for as long as we want to think as long as we need. But in the moment, you're not necessarily going to see the perfect move. But the more you train yourself to see um, a really good move as soon as possible and put your pill down, then that's really and avoiding making the big mistakes and just things that may not even seem big at the time but just like put you in these situations that like the one that we're seeing now.
we call
And
that content on a Betty B stream. Okay.
Betty playing for the content on in tournament. I love it. All right, let's keep going here and see if we can get this yellow horizontal.
Finally.
We finally get there, so that's good. I don't mind that empty clear. We're left with a setup, so that's not so bad. It's too bad we had to cover it with this red yellow that now we're getting punished for, but that's not really something you can play around all the time. Oh,
Why did I not do the?
you want it? Yeah, the combo. You saw it too in the moment.
Yep.
Well, now, yeah, but it's crazy. When I went on Ook stream the other week,
Hmm.
I feel like I probably like I played through. We played through my matches in the live tournament, and I was talking about all these moves that I would make and why I would make them. Then we would play the video, and I would do something completely different. And
Yep.
that happened probably more often than not. And it was just like, what am I doing? Like, so yeah, I feel like, you know, it's, it's just, it's not just, it's not just you, anyone who has those moments. Like everybody has, uh, these like, differences in, when you're in the moment, you just think differently. Like,
Hmm.
it's weird like that. So don't feel bad when you feel like you miss stuff, especially if you ever review your own gameplay and you miss obvious things. It's like, yeah, man, don't worry. Everyone
That's
does
the
that.
hard part for me. Is like I'm
Yeah.
so like I should have known better. What are you doing, Betty? The B stands for better. Anyway, but yeah, my
Oh
my board is
man.
super.
Yeah, we
You know.
blocked this. We blocked the setup here,
Yep.
unfortunately. I mean, I
Yep.
don't know if you were trying to maybe put it down this pit here, or something like that. There's again not a great spot, so you might have just been, just had
Preparing for it. Drop
not
here.
had yeah, or just not had anything you could, not come up with a move, and then the pill's falling, and here we are, and now this is where it's going,
Hmm.
which we've all been there. But yeah, that's really unfortunate that we blocked that. At this
Hmm.
point now, I think we just want to maybe try to even things out. You might even consider, and I know this is forbidden for you, doing an umbrella strat on the top right here now that this combo is
Ever.
like this. Um,
Actually, I don't mind the umbrella strat. Like, here's the thing. I'll bring a little controversy into this. I think, it's a valid strategy, and we just need to find ways to counteract it. Like, I still don't know what that way is. But anything you can do and that's viable in game is a valid strategy. And people that just said, I don't think the umbrella strat should be used. I mean, well, make the game not be able to use it. So it's just I have that stance on, just because they can do it and do it well, it doesn't mean it should be banned.
yeah, I definitely agree. I know I don't feel like that's been a huge controversy or anything like that, but I think it's an opinion we've heard before,
Yeah.
from various people. And
Now,
I
it's not
guess
fun to watch.
no,
It's just
well, I
stupid at
mean,
that
not
point.
really, but it can be. It's if it depends. I mean, I think if it was so good that you had to do Umbrella every time, every single game, then it would suck, and
Yeah.
that would be not great. But I mean, if you really, my opinion is, if you really think that this is a horrible strategy that shouldn't be used because it's too good and it's not fun and it ruins the game, well, I mean, prove it. Like, just go into
Yeah.
tournaments and umbrella every game and win
Yep.
every game and prove to everyone that you're right. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And so far we haven't seen that, even from Hibimato and Snipe, who sort of use it on and off again. And the more
Yeah.
I've thought about it, I feel like it's more of a contextual thing. I don't think I've
Mhm.
ever full umbrellaed in a game before, but I definitely do like the half umbrella a lot, because I feel like sometimes you just lose your left and right columns at the top, and it's just not worth the time to try to take them down. So you're just better off umbrella and column like the third most column from the edge, by just setting up the umbrella on one side, and you don't get to save on drop time because you'll always have a column where the pills are going to fall, but you will help your end game a lot, by just sort of umbrellaing that side and making sure it never gets blocked off. And it can really help you actually complete end games when you have these like horrible columns like this that look like they're going to be a nightmare to clear out. Like, you don't have any horizontal opportunity
Mhm.
to make a combo out of this or take it down quickly. Going at it vertically looks like a nightmare. But you do have a lot of space to play around underneath it. It's not like like you have this space here. You have like space you can clear out in column 6. So if you just protect that, that might end up being the best choice here. So I'd consider that, but I'm getting a little in the weeds here now.
Yeah, I have tangents going all over the place. Like, I never really considered that the umbrella was keeping you from the rain of trash down on your board. And so I've never really thought about it in that way. It always just looked like an umbrella. It was covering your board, but it's keeping you safe from the rain.
The rain of garbage, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Absolutely. Oh, we have a mid-roll ad. That is my mistake, Slay. I'm gonna just pause for a second because I had intended fully, totally. Oh no, don't drag that over there. I had fully intended uh to run some ads at the start just to try to avoid this problem, but yeah, I'm just gonna hold off. I'm gonna bring up my dashboard and just see the what's going on with the ad situation here, because that means people are getting pre-rolls and stuff too, which is not great. Um, Pre-rolls are off for an hour, I guess, because the mid-roll ads happened.
Uh,
2 of 7. Oh boy. Okay. Um, I'm just gonna give it. I don't. It doesn't show me how much ads are remaining, so I'm just gonna give it. We're gonna give it a couple minutes. I don't know if you want to get a glass of water
yeah,
or something like that.
yeah. I'll be
Got
right
some
back.
got some people out there in the chat. How's it going? Taking a little break here. I'm gonna add it to YouTube. So assuming that everybody's not watching ads and unable to hear us,
All right, I am back, but
Okay, cool.
I don't
Uh,
know where people are at with.
It'll probably be like another minute or so, I would guess.
I got to
We
get
have
all the Betty Boo content, right?
exactly, exactly, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I would just chat, but I don't know if anyone can even hear us if the ads are running.
Yeah, not everybody subscribes to you every month, like
Yeah, I
some
know.
people.
Well, I mean, I would never ask people to do that just to
Right.
skip ads. Like that's so, I mean, if you really want to skip the ads, that is an option, but I wouldn't endorse that as like the best option, that's for sure.
Yeah, Twitch does definitely have some weird methodologies on, you must see ads. That's the whole reason we're doing this. And so you
Yeah.
try your best during the actual like monthly checkup, but we can't really get around it too much.
Yeah, it's been that way more recently. Like I know I've gone pretty deep on the topic. I don't button mash. Assume that Jay's just trying to skip through the ads as fast as possible. He's
Oh,
back.
Jay's
Okay,
back.
perfect.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I was just gonna quickly say that I mean I've gone kind of deeper down the rabbit hole about Twitch and ads and how Twitch hasn't been a profitable company in a very long time, and this is why they're trying to push ads so much because they want Amazon to actually make money from Twitch, and this
Hmm.
is like the best way to do that, and it makes sense. But like, it's really difficult to integrate into live streaming, and I could go on about this forever. But the point is, like, ads are a reality. We're stuck with it. I get it.
Yeah.
It's a free service. It is what it is. But yeah, I totally forgot about it for this stream. Looks like we're back though, so we can get back into this anyway.
Awesome.
So as we're saying, yeah, things are looking dicey now. This red yellow placement was really unfortunate. We could potentially think about umbrella in the top right, but mostly we just want to start to clear these like spires down. That's the biggest problem right now.
Hmm.
And see if we can even things out before the garbage gets to be too much. So let's take a look and see how we do here. Yep, so we're doing the best that we can.
Hmm. I don't know why I tucked that under, but I mean,
Oh man, oh man, Betty. Sorry, I don't mean to call, but like this is so the double yellows are such a gift to help us deal with the situation. Even if we get like,
yeah.
a yellow blue or something, just to get this down and open up this red blue, the reds will make a combo. It was so great, and we just empty cleared. I mean, it's very scary to be at the top of the screen, so that's probably why. But like, I feel like double yellow was the ideal piece to bail us out of this, and we missed it, our
Yeah,
opportunity.
I feel like some of it was just that focus that I tell you about, like when that is so messy over there that I just focus elsewhere because I'm like, okay, I don't know what I can do over there yet. And so partially it's a delay tactic sometimes until I figure out what the best play is in other places.
Yeah, that's fair. And
I
I've
do that quite
definitely
often.
I've definitely done that where I'm just like I really don't know, so I'll do a safe thing and hopefully, as the pills come, something will inspire me and I'll figure out how to get
Yeah.
out of this for
And
sure.
I think that's what that was for sure, because like I looking at that, I didn't see that double yellow setup that you did. And so I probably was just thinking through that of what the best way to break that down was.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's too bad though too because there was
Yeah.
definitely a window
There were
to
two of them.
address this. And yeah, we had two of them too. We would have just double yellowed straight like that and gotten a combo to boot and maybe a red blue after potentially. But we'll
Hmm.
see. I'm assuming this will clear things out for us. Oh, you'll get a nice sick T. And now at least we're getting some combos and we're bringing things down. But this column is just so unfortunately still covered, and we're not getting a great opportunity to
Oh, go
uncover it.
back. I
Yeah, I was
see
gonna say.
again. I could have taken that yellow red off to the other side and then set up for a
Oh,
huge fat log if I
yeah,
would have dropped that. And again, I see. I think I see these in my brain and then just don't do it because I don't want the drop time. And sometimes the drop time like allows you to have a bigger combo, so it's not bad. You're already taking the drop time to get the blue down there, so just
exactly.
put the
Yeah,
red on top of it.
that's what I was gonna say. Like, this is sort of a concept that I kind of call like doubling up your drop time or like bundling your drop time, where putting this here doesn't actually add any drop time. And even technically putting it over here to the left doesn't add any drop time because even if you're dropping you're adding a piece that will drop a column. Well, this blue is going to drop three columns already, so you're not actually extending your drop time at all.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean that's a concept in speed more than anything, but in this case, like even if like even beyond that, like this is going to be worth the drop time for sure, and
Yeah.
this does not really help anything really. So yeah, I definitely would want to make the drop fat log. Um, to sort of, and it would help bring this column down as well, which would be
Right?
amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, but oh no, and then we could have, if this had been flipped around the other way. Oh, it's
Mm-hmm.
we could have still had it there, but yeah, it's you still get a great combo out of it at the end of the day.
And good setup. Like I feel like that.
And another sick fat log that we love. And you're actually like, if you look at Penguin's board, not doing so hot over here. This actually looks like a nightmare.
Mhm.
But you're looking clean, but you do end up losing this crown. I really don't.
Yeah.
I really want to see how we get to that point. See if we can learn from that because things look so good right now.
And that's I think you'll hear that statement a lot in my games is I get ahead and then somehow lose momentum. And I don't know where is that the speed for me? Is that, you know, getting kind of a fuller bottle or what? So yeah, I would like your eye on that too.
Yeah,
So
for sure. But we'll see. I mean, this is definitely not an ideal board. This double red, I think, was fine because we don't want to mess up this awesome drop T that we're about to get. More than ever, I think the umbrella would be awesome, especially seeing this column 6 garbage come down as I say that. But yeah, I think this would be the kind of board where that would be really helpful right about now.
mhm.
And you just have like a huge pit here as well, which is not great. I think that's gonna really be part of the puzzle here, as to how Pangolin sort of claws back into this.
Mhm.
But we're working on it. This red garbage is really unfortunate. I like that, except we didn't get a combo, but that's just kind of unlucky. Yeah, I just used one of the drop, so you put this yellow over here. But I mean, honestly, I personally I would have just dropped it down, like even if without a combo, just because it's high up. If we ever get garbage in this spot, it's a really in this spot like right here, it's really damaging.
Mhm.
It's a hard judgment call to make because you don't want to typically break setups like this, but and we're about to get a yellow blue, but in the moment that
And
might
I
have
think
been.
that's where I was seeing that the yellow blue was still coming right afterwards. And this is where I do, I don't know if a lot of people do it. I think some people do, but screen watch. So I was seeing she didn't have a combo instantly available to her at the moment so that I could take the next pill to set up a combo. So
Hmm. Oh, whoa.
why did I do what?
Whoa, 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 hold on. I think
This is rough.
I
This
feel
is
like
rough.
maybe this was a moment where like the blue red. I think you maybe just like didn't mean to do this, and happens to me too, where I'll make a placement that maybe I didn't mean to make, or I get a little colorblind, and I maybe like I could see myself thinking this is a blue yellow and putting it here, and then realizing the
Yeah.
mistake and going, "Oh God!" and then I mess up the next one or two pills,
Yep.
and that's
Yep.
maybe what happened here. Because I mean, this yellow blue we could easily. I mean, the best move is to oh sorry, the best move is to tuck it in here. But even if you just put it like over this side, that's also good. We do neither of those. And
Would you have had to tuck it though? Because you could have just put it
oh yeah,
straight
you
down in
also yeah,
four.
of course, you could just go
That's
like
what I
this.
wanted to do.
Yeah, and that'd be good too because the yellow falls and it all groups together. That's totally fine.
Hmm.
Um,
And
I
then I
know
would set up
also
a yellow.
you've
uh,
mentioned issues with controllers
Yes.
now and again. Were you having issues with controllers in this tournament?
I I always have issues with my controller that connects to my computer, and I don't know
Really?
if it's because of the USB adapter that I'm using, but it, I normally can adapt to it in certain
Oh God.
situations. But you
Okay.
shouldn't have to you should have confidence in your controller, and I've
Yeah.
never gotten to that point. And
Really?
so,
Wow.
like, I'm always working with like I've actually felt the most confident, and this isn't speedrunning, this is not for this, but with the dog bone recently. So I've
Right.
started using a dog bone, and it's actually helped me feel confident with my pill placement. Now, whether
Interesting.
I actually am making the right moves, that's
Well, that's not a
but
controller issue
yeah,
anyway.
that's a controller, human controller issue.
Right,
So
exactly. Then we end up taking the combo anyway, so that's good. I'm hoping we're getting rid of this center problem as soon as
we'll
possible.
see.
I'm really hoping. Not quite getting what we want.
No, we're gonna make it
That was
worse.
kind
We're
of
gonna
good.
make
I don't. Maybe this is difficult to see in the moment, but I definitely, especially with this red garbage, just saw
Uh-huh.
this tuck and get a
Oh, I
combo.
see it.
Yeah, that would have been
Yes.
sick. But I mean, this is as long as we're clearing this down, I'm honestly not worried about it. Uh,
Oh, no,
at
that
the
was good though.
at the very least, when you do, when you do make this clear here, it does set up like a yellow red situation, so you have another double setup. It's not like really that bad. Although we're gonna clear it
Yeah.
out now, but the speed's starting to pick up now, and we're still at the top of the board. I also feel like we haven't really been making a lot of combos recently, and that's maybe
Mm-mm.
giving Pangolin a chance to catch up.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just an example of why that's really important to always keep in mind whenever you can. Which I know that you know, but I just for the sake of
It's
everybody.
reminders are no, reminders are good, and, even the best player makes, or needs a reminder sometimes on things.
Hmm. That was pretty sweet. Oh man,
Oh,
was
what?
I feel like that must be a missed tap. You
Yeah,
meant
that
to
should
tap
have
this
been
over to the right.
over.
That surely was a
Yep,
missed
that should have
input.
been over in 6.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
we won't talk too much about that because we all know
yeah,
what you meant to
don't
do,
just
and that
keep
would have been
going.
much better. Yeah, let's just keep moving on here.
Yeah, no one saw anything, right?
And now, yeah, like just because of
It,
these couple of things, now the board's in such a state
yep.
that I don't know. I mean, you can survive certainly, but if she keeps putting pressure on you, that I think that's gonna be really difficult for anyone to recover from. Oh man,
Ah,
yeah. And now I feel like you're just kind of maybe in a little panic mode here,
yep.
because we're at the top of the board. Things are getting pretty fast now at this
And
stage.
you could
That was
see me
clearly
not
meant to
actually
be.
pushing down either. So I
Yeah,
was I was definitely like, okay, play better, not quicker at this point because you're obviously not ahead right now.
yeah, exactly. And honestly, at this high up on the screen, you don't really need to press down. It's not doing that much for you, so
Yeah.
that's totally fine. But yeah, it's more important obviously to just survive, and we're certainly doing that. But if you can't make combos, this is just sort of gonna play itself out.
And there that one too, a missed clear. So this was out of my idea. So yeah, Pangolin also was putting the pressure on, which probably kept me, you know, making these quick misplays and stuff. But
Hmm.
that
Well,
was that was a undoing of my own making.
for sure, yeah. I mean, she was definitely keeping the pressure on, as she's known to do. But I definitely think that there was part of the reason she was able to do that is because you didn't make any combos for quite some time, and we could
Mm-hmm.
go back and look and figure out why that is. But mostly, I think generally speaking, it was just
Misplays.
well, yeah. I mean, there's some missed inputs for sure, but also just maybe putting yourself into a situation that um, once it got covered up, then you were in a lot more trouble, and you were more worried about survival than combos, and
Mm-hmm.
you kind of want to avoid ever being in that position if possible, and um, just keeping things more like just as clean as you possibly can. Even if you're giving up on like a really cool fancy quad or something, it's just kind of an investment in your future where once you have more space to work with, you'll get more combos down the line. Whereas
Yeah.
if you take those high risks, you're eventually going to get punished, and it's going to cost you games for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Hmm. So let's move on from this one. Let's get into the second crown here. For this one, this is actually kind of an interesting opening. I don't think there's any obvious placement. What is your thought on this board?
I just looking at it initially, I would probably go to 8 with it, straight down on 8.
8 on the side here. Yep. Yeah, that seems okay. I mean, like I said, there's no obvious one. You could really put it there. You could put it in 1. You could put it in 3.
Now, my
I think those are
reasoning
the 3.
behind putting
Hmm.
it in 8 is we talked about it a little bit before, is getting to the yellows, which there's not really, there is the yellows in guess what is that, column 5, but just setting up for getting some yellows going because I see that as not being as predominant on the top line.
Okay, I see. Sorry, I'm drawing on Penguin's board instead of yours. I guess it's all the same, but yeah,
Yeah,
no, that makes sense that you're trying to expose the yellows. I would say that there's definitely some argument for 1 because you have a lot more combo opportunity doing this.
yeah,
The first
I
one,
agree.
obvious one, is just up stacking on here and then getting a combo by clearing underneath.
Hmm.
The other possibility that you could do is you could get like a yellow blue in this spot, and now suddenly you have a double opportunity for blue
Oh,
yellow.
yep.
So you actually have a lot of options out of putting it in column one like that, which is really interesting. If you want to be really safe, you could put it in three, but that's probably the worst option. Honestly, it's blocking the
Yeah.
yellow horizontal. It evens the board, but doesn't actually make a setup. Lots of issues with that. So I think either one is fine. One definitely gives you a more aggressive chance of getting that first combo, which I think is important, but it's also pretty. I mean, you're not that close. Like you still have to get like reds on top, or yeah, the perfect yellow blue pill here, like
Hmm.
double blue yellow. But it's something anyway. And then maybe if we get red yellows, we'll think about like cross opportunities here, and then double red. As much as I hate double reds, uh, dependencies you might be able to do. If you get a big string
Yeah,
of
I
yellow
know I would do
reds,
that.
you
I
could
would do that in a
manufacture it.
heartbeat.
You could at least manufacture it if you really had to, something like that, if it was necessary. But if you ever get that double red, it'll be sweet.
Hmm.
So yeah, those are just some of the ideas I'm thinking of here. Let's see what you actually do with this double blue. Oh, you put it in one. Sick.
Wow,
Sweet.
look at
And you get the blue
me.
yellow. Let's see if you go for my second move that I had. Oh, Betty, you, Betty from the past was reading my mind in the future. That's
Yep,
crazy. And then you get the double, right? Okay, you do the tuck. That's about the same. And you get that was great. That was exactly what I was thinking when I saw that move, and you did it just right, just like that.
just for you, love. Just for you.
And I mean, like if you look at what Pangolin end up using all these blue yellows for over here, like she'll get a combo in a second, but you definitely beat her to it, so that'll give you a good advantage here right from the get go. She didn't get her combo covered, unfortunately, but if one column over, this could have been huge to get that opportunity for yourself,
Hmm.
and it's still good, obviously. And we're gonna manufacture that
Oh,
cross, but we're gonna really hope we get. Okay, I'm glad you did that. I was gonna say if you're in this situation, I don't hate this, but if you don't get this blue soon, this could be really bad and
yep.
like a total disaster. And so the first blue you get, no matter what it is, has to go here. But you end up finding another way to clear it down, which I totally agree with. And then hopefully we'll get this double blue, get some horizontal magic going. Uh, columns 2 and 3, I hope. Oh, we cover it up. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I don't really. I mean, this yellow red might have been better served over here to just get that setup going. But yeah, man, I wish we could have
See,
taken
I'm
the
committed to
horizontal
using
blue.
that piece of yellow in a drop clear in 8. So I'm committed.
Really?
I
Okay.
know that's part of the problem is that commitment of, oh, that's a piece of trash that is useful down the line, and I normally don't like just clearing those to get underneath.
So
You'll see that a
you're
lot.
not gonna make this move, is what you're saying? Like that's just not a
Yeah,
move you're gonna
I
make.
don't think so.
Well, I mean, the nice thing about this move is like red blue lets you now set up a triple situation here. And if you
Hmm.
don't get it, then maybe you'll just open up your edge column there. But that's also good too. I didn't like having that center column so high, so that's probably the best thing you could have done was just
Hmm.
to clear out that out in the center for safety's sake. And now you're gonna get another double blue here, and that's totally fine. And yeah, honestly, this is all safe plays, but I think it's absolutely like defensible and probably the best option, honestly. So that was definitely good. We look
I
for
am
our
surprised I
setup.
didn't go over to 8 with the red yellow once. See, I'm committed.
Whoa.
I'm committed
You are
to
committed,
going
but
big.
it is going to work out, thankfully. I'm glad that you got that. I'm just looking to see. Well, not here. Sorry. Let's get past this. I got a little too far. Wait, did I go too far back?
Yeah.
Or not far back enough? I mean, yeah. You got this here. And then you put the yellow. Just you were just so ready for that. Like we could have done so many other safe things.
Hmm.
I do like about this is that it's addressing this column 8 garbage, which I think is a huge deal. But like we could have set up a yellow red thing. And then we could have cleared this red out, maybe empty, and then try to get a red yellow somewhere. I guess this is kind of redundant though. You have a red yellow load setup loaded right here, and so setting up another one is not really helpful. It's just gonna break when you take one or the other. So maybe this kind of sucks actually. Maybe this move is actually genius. Now the more I think about it, so fair enough. But it is super dependent on getting some blues. But thankfully we do get them, and you don't hold out. You do take a double and then another, actually a triple on this one. So that leaves you in a good spot here.
Yeah, but
Oh, do you think you intended to tuck here?
no, I wanted to tuck it. I wanted to tuck that.
You wanted, so you did intend to tuck it.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, surely, like knowing Betty, she surely wanted. I thought maybe
No,
you were
I
thinking,
wanted
oh, I'll
to.
connect it here and I'll drop it down, is what you were
I
thinking.
mean, I could have, and that's what I'm setting up for right there. But yeah, that piece of red trash in six probably was calling my name, like, "Hear me too." So I bet that's what I was intending. But man, I just want to get underneath those column one and two. It's getting pretty high over there and a lot of trash. So I think I should have probably cleared it.
Yeah,
I should have
perhaps. I
tucked
mean,
it.
I think like generally speaking that just taking the combo sooner rather than later is always better. At least,
Mhm.
well, not always, no absolutes, of course, but like sometimes it is important to value clearing certain pieces of garbage like you're doing right now, but um I think your board is not in such a bad state. I think you can afford to do that and it leaves you in such a good spot after that it's probably better to just take it right now and potentially get some more garbage going on and paying, especially this early on in the game. Like I just want combos. I feel like they're the most damaging at the beginning of the game, so I prioritize doing that for sure.
It's interesting to think
Yeah,
about.
as long as I'm not, especially in a case like this where you'll be left with like a red yellow setup and everything will kind of connect when it resolves. It's just, yeah, I don't see any reason not to take it other than to prioritize clearing this out. But it's not even that high up on the board. So, you know, uh, in your case, we'll see, you'll get this combo on the right. And this is also the other reason I like to prioritize just taking it is just because now this blue garbage is just so damaging. This is exactly the risk of making these big setups like this is that
Mhm.
they are like if you do get punished by getting garbage in exactly the right spot, it is so devastating to have something like this happen. Now you might just get double blue, yellow, and immediately bail yourself out of it and get a quad, but I mean you can't count on that. If that doesn't happen, you're going to be sitting here for a while at the top of your screen and maybe having to break this in the end and getting almost maybe no combo. Who knows? So
Yeah.
we'll see how this works out. Okay, so we you at least finally get there, but like it just leaves us in this spot where we had to make these bad pills because of that. That maybe we could have avoided that whole situation if we had just taken the combo. And it sounded like that's what you wanted to do anyway, so
Yes.
fair play. We're certainly bringing things down now. Oh wow,
Like
okay. I was
that.
gonna say why didn't we oh whoops, I was gonna say why didn't we go up here? But I mean that's also a combo too. I didn't even see that setup to be honest, so that's perfectly fine. Oh, what is happening? Please stop please stop taking screenshots of my sorry, give me give me one sec. I'm just gonna switch away for 1 minute, just so I can restart and figure out what the heck is happening here. And I'll bring back your screen cap in a second. One
Okay.
sec.
But yeah, a lot of times I do make the more difficult plays and not the straightforward one, and that is something that tends to get me in the end, or make it to where I make the plays that people are like, wow, So it does have that risk reward that I haven't found the right balance for sure.
I'm trying to remember where we were at. Okay, we made this cross. I think we were about here. I'm gonna screen share with you. No, it's my bad. Let's show you this. Is that showing up for you there?
Yes, that looks
Okay, let's go
that
back.
is
I'm
the
sure
move
this is not
before.
where we were, but it's close enough, I think. Because yeah, you
Yep.
do this combo, and we were just shortly after this, I think.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Oh, nice combo, and even though this doesn't actually trigger a combo with this horizontal blue, I still think it's fine because you have a setup anyway after this for a double, so it's not like that bad, and you get a double this way anyway. This yellow red goes here, and that's I think this is a close call. It's like, do you put
Yeah.
the yellow red here or do you put it up
In
on
seven
this
eight.
to try to
Or
clear this down? It's tough.
yeah.
Because if you did this, or whoops, if you did this move, and then you get capped off with garbage here, this is awful. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, or you could make an umbrella if that should happen. Maybe that's your backup plan. But um, yeah, I don't know. I'm just looking at this. I'm not even sure what the correct thing to do is, to be honest. But it's definitely an important decision to make here. I think, like personally, I tend to make the move, this kind of a move, more often in this situation because I'm just kind of trying to. I've been trying to like prioritize evening my board more than anything, just to see how that's going. But
Mhm.
it's possible. I mean, this gets you one. Sorry, this gets you one away from a combo. So I think that's probably hard to hard to turn down. And then you get the double yellow over here, and it's working out
And
here for you.
again, feeling like I'm ahead here as well. Not like I tend to jump out ahead to just lose momentum. So still trying to figure out where that
Well,
happens.
Well, to that point, I mean, this is not related to what's happening on the screen right now, but to that point, I feel like that's not necessarily a mistake that you're making, and I think that's just more a consequence of how versus works. I think that's
Hmm.
pretty common. I mean, Swang had described, and I was talking to him in Columbus. He described his play style as like the counter punch is how he thinks about it, where he doesn't necessarily get off to the early start, but then will make the comeback because he takes his position from behind and he will use it to his advantage to send a lot of garbage all at once, and then he sort of gets the momentum back, using the situation that he's put in by his opponent. So I think that's just kind of him taking advantage of how versus is played and how the game tends to flow. So I don't think that you are doing something wrong that's causing that. I think that's just how versus happens. And
To
just
that same point, the difference between Swang's counterpunch and the style of play, I can't I don't believe in my abilities as much on the top line of the game to where like that's where I don't feel comfortable. So getting more comfortable with maybe the top line plays is something I can take from that because Swang just plays so well at the top of his board to where he can make those combos. He knows exactly where his pill is going to go. But that confidence for me of being able to navigate the pill where I want it, even if I see the combo, I have to get the pill there. And that's where sometimes I falter, whereas somebody like Swang and his ability can actually make that happen.
for sure, and I think that's really important. I know Snipe had said to me, I think it was in um, our review actually. He mentioned that he was talking, I think, to Jeanette Flindo, who was asking him how to get better. And he said like one of the most important milestones for people trying to make that leap to be like a top player is to get comfortable at the top of the board because you're going to start every game there. And you are going to be put in situations where you have to do things at the top of the board to survive or to stay in the game. And it's really important to be comfortable doing that. So yeah, I think that's totally a worthy thing to work on. If you feel like that's not the case, I didn't actually realize. I thought you were pretty comfy at the top of the board.
Well, I'm comfortable there, but I think it goes back to the confidence in getting the pills maneuvered. Like I see some of the times when both Snipe, Swang, Hebe, they make these maneuvers that I can't even physically imagine how they did it. And
Mm,
knowing that that's an ability that somebody can have in the game, but not knowing how to do it myself, even at my level of play of how long I've been doing it, I'm like, okay, I need to figure out how to do that, and then I can work it into my game.
yeah,
But
fair
if
enough.
I can't even understand, okay, what inputs did you do at what time to get that move to happen? That's
Right.
where like if I don't have that in my toolbox, I'm not going to be able to use it to my advantage. So yes,
Fair enough. It sounds like maybe you need to do a little research and then hit up Sarah Sparkle for
I
some
mean,
level 20 races, and then you can get real comfy at the top of the board.
I've been told how to do it, but then actually doing it is a completely
Yeah,
different
for
thing.
sure. Couldn't agree more. All right, let's keep moving here. And I mean, all things considered, you're actually in a good spot here, and it's just a matter because you do end up losing this crown too, and then this is where the counterpunch uh, is going to come from Pangolin, I guess. But so far, everything looks good. I don't see any issues with any moves you're making here in the last little bit. She's just sort of hitting her counterpunch moment, and
Yep.
yeah, that I guess is meant to be a drop piece into
Yep.
this, which is actually kind of awesome. So that's good. This blue garbage is such a pain, and I hope that like we can get rid of it. You're not really getting many good pieces to do that though. You're just getting a lot of yellow reds and stuff. Did you mean to do this double red here?
Nope,
Excuse me. Is
nope.
this an umbrella strap, perhaps? Hello?
Oh yeah, totally. I meant to do that. Talking about my maneuverability on top of the board, I totally meant to do that.
Yeah, totally. Look at this combo here. Are you trying to do the T? Was
Yes.
this? Yeah, I do it. And Betty and T, they go together.
Should just be Betty T plays G's,
Oh, Betty G makes teas. Yeah.
Yes, there
Anyway,
you go.
we could be here all night. Let's.
I'm just waiting for that pill.
And,
Oh,
yeah.
and then I ruined it.
Oh no, and you had the double. I was gonna say, fair enough if you're not gonna get it, but then you had the double blue in the box.
Yeah.
I can't count how many times I've done this where I give up on a setup, and then as soon as I do, I look in the next box, and there's the pill I was waiting for, and
Yep.
I'm like, I just needed to hold out one more pill.
And there was a perfectly good place for that too. I think that's the thing that really bums me out about that move is I could have easily placed that in 1-2, waited one additional pill with that double blue and take it, but no.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess if you're trying to hold out for that double blue, the safest thing is just to go here, skin this off, and go from there. But it's hard to especially that high up on the board where you don't have a lot of time to react to that. It is what it is. You kind of
Yep.
just have to commit to it and be like, no matter what, I'm not going to block this off. But then if you get garbage here, it's a big problem. So it's a risk reward thing for sure. But it happens. Everybody does that. I can't imagine there's anyone who has never done that to themselves.
And then I'm eyeing this red horizontally. If I can get this, oh, I decide not to do it.
Red horizontally with the double yellow. What were you?
Well, no, like underneath. So I'm putting that double yellow in column 2, and I'm trying to clear that red after clearing blue in 3. So like again, I think too far in advance of the actual play happening at the time. So
yeah, I think it's a little ambitious, that idea, just because like it's sound, it makes sense. It's just that it takes forever to get there, and
I get too
you
focused
just
on it.
against good players like Pangolin, you just don't have that kind of time.
Yep.
To do that, and like to get a double, like we could get doubles in a lot of places, and it might just be better. We might be better served doing what you ended up doing here and just trying to clear things out. Like the great thing I love about this is, even though it didn't make a combo, it did open up a setup at least, and now you have this red blue L situation that you can take advantage of. This double yellow is kind of awful pill to get here, but it is what it is.
Now I should have played it maybe in 5-6 to where I could have had a fat log possibility before it was cleared, but
yeah,
anyway.
I assume you're really wanting this like horizontal situation. Is that what this move maybe is?
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and then this is to maybe you're making too many plans here in this case, but I don't see a better spot for this yellow red. Really, it kind of is a crappy pill to get in this spot, unfortunately. And then this garbage costs you your setup too. That is really unfortunate.
Yep.
But yeah,
I let this game ride.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think for the most part, if there's anything that's contributing to the situation that we're watching unfold right now, it's just that, like, I was talking about the counterpunch and someone coming back after you get that early lead to take the momentum back. It just feels like because you have all these ambitious moves, you always get caught in these really bad timings where someone's counterpunch comes along and your board is really not set up to handle it, and it really punishes you hard, and that's probably what's leading to like the losing of these games. And it's difficult to know when that's going to happen exactly, but I think maybe just generally trying to I don't want anyone to be mad at me for trying to dampen your spirit or anything like that, but like maybe roll back the ambition a little bit with some of these plans and just make the boring doubles that will leave you in a good position to receive that incoming garbage. You know what I mean?
Yes. No, I completely agree, and it is something that I acknowledge and try my best to not do as often, but it's two different things. I am a combo player at heart, or like I like seeing the horizontals. I like seeing the advanced play, and when they trigger, there's nothing more beautiful than some of the quads that get fired. So
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, everybody wants to be as cool as Betty making the big combos, but sometimes the B does have to stand for boring, unfortunately. And I
yeah.
know that's not the answer people want to hear, but that's I just call it as I sees it. But you're actually not like you actually are making progress back down the board. It's just that Penguins definitely pulled ahead now, and
Hmm.
we're just we have these ugly spires on the left side. The right side is sort of like semi umbrellaed, but not fully. So we're still taking the column 6 garbage, which is not ideal.
And I
Um,
don't think I top out in this one, if I'm not mistaken. So I think she fully takes it just by clearing me down. So that at least is a win in my book with players like that.
Yeah, for sure. And this is kind of to my point about like doing the umbrellas here. Like, if you are going to be in a situation like this where you lose your two edge columns either on the left or the right, if they're going to be stacked all the way to the top, you certainly would rather have something sitting like right here just to block this column 6, because this is just objectively better than having not having it and just having the column stacked all the way to the top of the screen. So if you think you're just going to unavoidably be in that situation, that's when I kind of endorse like the half umbrella. I found that that's been pretty effective for me.
And I will say, Love, this is where I think the actual flip in my play happened. But it was too late for this game. But I think this is how I ended up coming back and winning. Is like I was just making the quick plays. I wasn't trying to do anything fancy past this point. So,
Okay, well, I was kind of hoping we'd build to that moment. I was gonna
oh,
talk about
yeah.
that the next game, but that's okay. Yes, I,
Sorry,
I I
sorry.
do agree with you. I definitely agree with you. And I was gonna I'll still ask you about that, and we'll all pretend to act surprised that I did.
Okay.
But
Yeah. Wow.
what? Whoa! Look what he did there. Yeah, didn't see that coming. But yeah, no, I kind of figured that that's what you were gonna probably start doing in the next game. But you were telling me that you were saying earlier that it was something that you consciously had decided to do going into this
Yeah.
next one. And to be honest, even here, I just want to point out that like you are actually kind of putting it to Pangolin here. She is gonna have an end game, and spoiler alert, she's gonna find it and win. But like the way that you're stacking up the garbage on her and stun locking, I mean, if some of this garbage, like if this yellow garbage or these two pieces here were a different color, like this might actually still be a game at that point.
Yeah. This was
Because
beast mode, Betty.
yeah, so
So
this is sort of like the counter punch in a way where like you are now getting all of this ammo to send garbage back to Pangolin. And that's just sort of a thing I've noticed in verses that happens where someone will get a big stun lock and then the other person will be behind, and then it's on sort of their turn to seize the momentum back and sort of send all of the garbage back to the opponent, and then it puts them in the same position to send the garbage back to you, and it's just sort of this back and forth kind of yo-yo situation. And that's just like that's sort of just how versus works. It's not something you can avoid. It's just sort of how the games play out. And
and taking this one step further though, like the trash that I'm sending her is actually helpful trash. Like just
well,
that little blue there allows her to have this drop clear to where now she's set up perfectly for a yellow there. So like sometimes comboing is not the right move, and I haven't found that balance either of like they're making their own trash, they're putting they're having bad placement for things that I don't need to add maybe some helpful trash to. So yeah, anyway.
okay, I see. Well, yeah, no, I just uh lost my train of thought there. Um, what was I gonna just say? Oh my goodness. uh, you know what? I couldn't have been that important. I totally forgot what I was gonna
Sorry.
say, but that's okay.
I get on those like, okay, is it appropriate to combo right here? Or should I just,
Right.
you
Okay. No,
know,
that's right. Sorry. Now I remember. So yeah, I mean, you were mentioning like I don't know when it's appropriate not to combo. To me, like you were saying, I gave her helpful garbage and then it allowed her to have the perfect setup to win. And it's like,
mhm.
yeah, but at the end of the day, garbage is pretty random. I mean, I
And
won't
she
get
probably
into
would have
the.
won it anyway too.
I mean,
So
yeah, literally, it's not any vertical, any split pill. She could have just put vertically to put the yellow in place. But
yeah,
also, but even just beyond that specific example, garbage is random. It is going to help your opponent sometimes, even though you'd prefer it hurts them. But
good
you
point.
can't control that. It's not like you're, you know, it's just not possible to try to time things so that you don't give them helpful garbage because you can't control the columns it falls in. It's way too much to think about to try to calculate what color they're going to get and all this stuff. Like you just don't have time for that in a versus game,
Yeah.
and it's probably not worth the juice is not worth the squeeze to even begin to try thinking about that stuff. So
Yep.
personally, I don't worry
Definitely.
about, oh, should I combo, should I not. It's like I'm gonna combo, and sometimes I will get unlucky and give helpful garbage, but that's just sort of the nature of the game. I can't do
Yeah.
anything about that. Because by the same token, I could get the perfect garbage and I could pull way ahead, and at the very least, at least she'll get some stun lock time. So there's a little consistency in what I'm getting out of this. So I think it's always worth it to just sort of pull the lever and hope you get better garbage, and not think, oh, I don't want to risk giving helpful garbage. I just don't think there's any point in that. So I think the answer to that question is definitely always just do the combo, and yeah, you'll accept that sometimes you will just be unlucky, and that will happen, and it is what it is.
Now, brief aside to that, I just like being the one to place the last piece of pill to actually clear the game for them, because then almost it makes me feel like I won.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense to me for sure. That was a good feeling, definitely. We have three more crowns to get through.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm gonna take a very quick ad break just so that nobody gets mid rolls. I'm just gonna run 3 minutes real quick if anybody wants to get a drink or anything like that, and I'll bring it back here in just a second.
Do you actually play music while that's happening, or are we still live?
Hey everybody, sorry I'm back. I don't love doing ad breaks, but I feel like it must be better than having us get cut off. So it is what it is. It'll be just another about minute and a half here. Betty, you still there?
I'm still here.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Good, good, good.
I'll leave you hanging. I'll let you talk about my matches for the rest of the time alone. No, I'm looking forward to this shift though.
Yeah, yeah, we got three more games to get through, and you win them all. So I
And
definitely
I
follow
apologize
that.
for picking a long one, but I validated it with you. I
Yeah,
was
no,
like,
that's fine. I don't
this
mind
wasn't
doing a long
decided.
one. Yeah, I mean, 30 minutes. It was a 30-minute run. I've seen longer matches than that in terms of like the actual run time. So
Hmm.
it's really not a big deal. I'm gonna try to get through these a little quicker just so that we can
Yeah,
all get
that's
to
fine.
bed. But
Completely understand.
but yeah, I'm sure I'll get drawn into a tangent anyway, so don't worry about it.
I'll try not to myself.
It's okay.
I'm just reading some of
Um,
chat and something that Slay said. It was kind of interesting too. So,
about getting to 8 early.
hmm.
Yeah, it is harder to get over there later, and the right side is biased because you can like blink and kick flip over to the
Yep.
left. So there's that. Um, I think about that more in speed, honestly, and
Hmm.
I just value the edges in general. But yeah, I do think that getting over to 8, there's some consideration there, but I think it's pretty low. There's too many other things that are important. I think the center is the most important thing anyway. But
Yeah.
and most of the time you're gonna do whatever the pills sort of dictate in that situation. So it's
Yeah,
hard.
not just
You never
yeah,
really have to choose the left over the right in a lot of cases because there's just gonna be
typically. Yeah.
one over the other that's a clear choice. But you're just gonna do whatever you can. But yeah, no, that's fair that there is some consideration to clearing the right over the left if you have to think about that.
Mhm.
So, that yeah, those ads are definitely over. Hopefully everybody's back, and we'll move into the next one. So, let's go to your next opening move here. I mean that seems pretty obvious to me. I don't think.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't think we're empty clearing either of these. I think we're just setting this up and hoping we get another one, because
Yep.
it's too big of a reward to pass that up. I mean, yes, it's a double dependency combo, but like you're not putting it anywhere else. And I mean, I guess there's a bit of consideration of like clearing here, and then you get to do, if you get blue reds, you get to do like the sweet drop cross situation, but or like the drop horizontal, I guess. But I think I would just rather take a double because you can still get
Yeah.
something cool here anyway, eventually. So let's see. Yep, makes sense. Oh, she found first combo. I actually was watching your board. I didn't see what she did. Oh, wait. Oh, you didn't. The double blue came and you didn't take the combo. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. I mean, do you feel like that there's merit to
No,
this?
again, no. Nope.
Okay, it's just sort of a one of those in the moment things.
Yep.
Yeah, especially at the beginning of the game, I can't defend that. Like you got to take your
Yeah.
combo because
Yes.
are you gonna get covered now? Well, this clears away at least, I guess. And now I, I mean,
I don't know
this
how I
is
win this one.
this is getting this is getting a little wild and wacky. I mean, honestly, I think the double red could just safely go down here, which is gets your horizontal, and then you have a little red yellow action going on that you could put red yellows there, which will be handy if you're committing to this blue horizontal. But the biggest reason I don't like this is because I can get behind doing horizontals and setting up for that, but because you have the double blue here now, it's going to be so difficult to actually complete this because you will have to
Yep.
get a blue yellow for either 1 or 5, and then you'll have to get a double blue, and it's just going to
Yep.
be really difficult to do that. And maybe you'll get it, but I guess we'll see what happens here in a minute. Well, then you just
Now I
take it.
take
You
it.
you abandon it. So that's perfectly fine. I think that's probably the best way to do this. And both of you are just kind of pulling ahead in speed on the board here, doing the speed plays. But I think you're better set up. And now you're just going for combos. Now you really are just doing the doubles. This is what we were waiting for. These like really quick doubles. And you're not giving up any opportunities either. And it's really going to show on Penguin's board, I think. And honestly, this blue garbage, not even that unfortunate, gives you a great place for this blue yellow, as it turns out.
Mhm.
And another, yeah, that's a little less fortunate, but oh yeah, I don't know where this blue yellow could have gone. I mean, you could put it 7-8 maybe if you wanted to.
Oh, mhm.
If you
But by
wanted,
that point, you could
if you're
see
okay
I
with
did a
breaking the
last minute
setup.
flip. Yeah, I was already
Yeah, you were
not
moving it
knowing where
back.
to put
You were
it.
doing the shimmy. You were very unsure of that one. The red tuck underneath is interesting. I mean, I feel like I would have put it like this or like this, perhaps, just maybe to get like a red yellow situation opening.
Mm.
But you tucked it under there. I guess you're really committing to this horizontal is the idea. You're just making a platform for yourself.
Yes, the yellows. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. And honestly, I can kind of get behind that because I'd like to get rid of this. But I also that wasn't the whole point of putting the blue yellow here
No.
originally, was it? Okay.
No, that was a misplay. And
But
that's what ends
I
up
mean,
happening is my misplays breed bad judgment calls because now I have to think about that's not where I meant it. So now I have to rethink what I was planning or
yeah,
what
and
I need to plan for.
that's really difficult to do. But I mean, that's just a
Mhm.
skill you have to develop like any other, really. And I think you
Mhm.
are pretty good at that for the most part. But everybody, everyone has those moments. This is a really weird board that you have here, like because of this pit, and you have this red horizontal you'd like to get, but there's blues at the
And reds
bottom.
everywhere.
I wonder if you should just like put the yellow red down here and just accept that, because it's really the only way this horizontal will ever happen is if you just fill this gap here, and this is
Mhm.
not the worst way to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess we're gonna see because where you end
Well,
up
and then I could do the next pill, which is also red yellow, and flip that over onto three, and then clear it in a combo. Um,
on to three.
so
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You could do like
so
this
like
and then
I
get the
I see
horizontal.
the capabilities there. I just didn't see it in the moment.
I
Yeah.
mean, I would have just well, I mean, I was thinking like you put this here, and the whole idea of like you could just put a red yellow like this. It'll collapse down, and you'll
Hmm.
get this horizontal. Maybe then this red horizontal will be a thing. But
Yeah.
we're thinking ahead really far, and honestly,
Yeah.
both routes look pretty decent, honestly. So,
Yep.
but we'll get a red piece of garbage, and maybe now you'll just be open to doing it. Yeah, and you get quite a bit there for that. Actually, you get a triple. Oh, the perfect. See, garbage can help you
Hmm.
too.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
but
for sure.
you got really you. I mean, to be fair, if you feel like you can get away with extending a combo like that, it is correct to do it, and you end up getting a charity triple. Let's go.
I had to set up half of that. I mean, it was charity the rest of the
And
way, but
yeah, and to be fair, when you get in a situation like this where you're a little ahead, if you can do it quickly and execute it properly and at like full speed, then it's okay to extend stuff like that because when you've
yeah,
pressured your opponent, you have bought yourself a little more time to get away with stuff like that. And it can be, a missed opportunity not to try to do that. So I think
yeah.
in your position, you could definitely were okay to get away with it. It got a little off the rails, but you found the line and you got there. So it would all worked out. But now we have to see if the counterpunch comes and if it's going to
Yep.
be a
It's
problem here.
coming.
And I feel like it's starting right now.
Yep.
The center column garbage. Oh, luckily she didn't stun lock you on that column 4. That would have been pretty bad. And you find a nice little triple set up here. It's unfortunate traffic lights your 8th, but I mean, you have bigger issues that you've just resolved, so it's all good.
Hmm. There's some questionable plays before this, but
This is
I don't
yeah,
think I
this
would give it
this
again.
this
Yeah.
column 6 situation is not great. But I did watch this a little earlier today and I
Mhm.
saw this double red and I was like, "What? Why? Like what is this? Like we should
Yeah.
be going up, right? Surely, but you were way more big-brained and you're setting up for the big huge quad situation here. And honestly, I think that's probably correct, but I never would have seen that. I would have been too focused on getting the double and then
And
maybe I
I
would have got
honestly
this
see
after.
those way too
Often?
much. That yeah, like I think if we were going for style points, I would win hands down. Like of like the hands the advanced plays that I'm attempting to do. Now, actually doing them, it really doesn't work in versus play often. And so like it is that risk reward that we keep talking about of like, should I be doing that? Yeah, that's going to be a triple when I take it. But do I really need a triple, or do I just need to play clean, not trash up my board, and just get a double?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it was Snipe who was told me that your playstyle specifically resembles Hebe Motto, and I thought
Hmm.
that was interesting because I've always thought that your playstyle more resembled like Dave Smith says,
Yeah.
and he does sort of gets into the same thing. But I mean, he is even on another level for that sort of thing. He's just,
Yes.
I mean, we could talk about Dave Smith says and
You need to
forever,
get
and
him on.
I mean, honestly, I was like, I don't know if I can have him on. I don't know if I could survive an analysis of Dave Smith says.
Oh
I
God, that
can't
would
follow
be
his play.
beautiful.
Like like he comes up with all these crazy ideas. I would felt like I would be, you know, trying
Just let
to
him talk then, yeah, and maybe that's
maybe yeah,
in
maybe
and
it
of
just
it.
needs to be the Dave Smith says show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll
But
think about it. I'll think about it.
yeah.
And you end up
Oh,
getting
it
that
was even a
sweet quad.
quad.
It was a quad. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I thought that was like yeah, that was my whole point is that that was a great little setup that you did. That
I
ended up
only saw
netting the
the
quad.
triple even with looking at it now, so I go me. Oh, and watch this. I hope I put it in too.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And then you'll get another double here, and now you're sort of counter punching back, so that's great.
I wanted
Um,
that double red. What would you have done with that? Because I feel like I should have played that in maybe
I was gonna
uh
say,
yeah, five,
I
six.
don't hate your plan. Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. I was like, I just happened to see this, and I was like, oh, that's the most Betty move I've ever seen. I can't believe you didn't do it. That's crazy. But that's the 1 2 putting it in one is also totally fine, and you maybe will pick that up later, kind of like this, holding out for it, holding out for the fat log, or
Always.
not, or just take. Well, it's a triple. I think that's acceptable, an acceptable sacrifice. But yeah, there's no sense like holding out for stuff like that. Sometimes is a big issue for people. Um, but yeah, it was good that you avoided that. Now you're kind of approaching endgame here, but it's all covered up. You really gotta some digging to do now. But you're
Yeah,
still
but
ahead.
this move I'm trying to do will dig a little bit, but I'm just not getting the pills that I want.
Yeah,
If
and
this
that's
game
tough.
gave me what I wanted.
Yeah, but you'll get the. I was waiting for you to get that T eventually. Get another double, and you're just keeping the compass going. It's exactly what you need to do. If you get this fat log, which you do, oh, love this. Brings that down on the right. That was great. Oh wow. You see, like this is when this sort of thinking is amazingly good because the biggest difference is that this is not like superfluous stuff. Like you purposely cleared out to put this yellow here, and then you
Hmm.
set up the yellow here, and it's going to be a big setup, which unfortunately gets blocked by this yellow. But nevertheless, like this is going to open up so much. It's going to make progress on your virus count. It's going to impact your board health, and it's going to send a quad. So when you get
But
to
if
do
she
accomplish all of that in one setup, that's when it's really worth going the extra mile to do all this kind of setup.
if she wouldn't have gotten the triple though, I still could have maneuvered around that because the triple put that pill in column 4. So I
Mm,
still could have slotted a red in there if that also wasn't there. Yes,
right.
the yellow would have been blocked column 2, but then once I got that red, it would have cleared the blues anyway.
Right. Well,
So like
you have a double blue
yeah,
coming, so maybe you'll end up putting it here and on top,
I'm sure. We'll
and
see.
clear it out if you don't get yellows first. We'll see what ends up happening here. Yeah, you do that to just give yourself the out. I don't. Oh wow. Yeah, I don't know what the double blue up here. Maybe there's something better. Yeah, you just clear it away. It's fine as long as you're making these decisions quickly at this stage. I don't think it's a huge deal. The most important thing is you got that setup cleared away and it didn't sit there unresolved for
Oh,
too
that
long.
should have been a flip there.
This
But
red yellow here, I was
yeah,
gonna.
not that it was too much of an issue, but
Well, yeah, I mean that's certainly not an intentional move. Yeah, you'd meant to put it just like straight on 5 6,
flat.
obviously.
Yep.
Yeah, that's. But honestly, even just clearing this stuff out, as much as you want to keep the combos up, if you don't get the pills, but you can start clearing some viruses, especially on this right side where you have the horizontal situation blocked off, and something like this 7 garbage is pretty rough.
Hmm.
Even just trying to go speed run for a minute and clear all these viruses out might be worth it.
That's a good point.
But I mean, you do. I mean, you're definitely still in a better place than she is right now. And we're certainly gonna get this lightning rod set up in column 6, right? Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Leaving
Right,
those.
Betty?
Right, Betty. And we'll get the perfect pills to get this horizontal, and we're laughing.
Hmm.
We're just laughing now. Yeah. I mean, I don't really see any issues with this end game. You're doing what you can. Lack of red here is kind of not great, but you have setups. Oh yeah. See, you're just finding them.
Yeah, I think where I struggle here though is like, okay, how am I going to take these reds? What's the best, most efficient way to, like, you can see I can clear the blue first if that happens, and then get 3 reds at once, or should I leave and try and get the reds in column 7 first to try and take them, as 2 different sets,
Well,
if that makes
the
sense.
way you have a setup here in the center right now, which is you're inevitably going to get, I think that
Hmm.
you can really just let the pills decide how you're going to do this because you definitely have once you get this blue yellow situation cleared down, and maybe you'll cut these horizontals out. You'll have the option to get rid of this blue virus and then take this all out horizontally at the bottom.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get a red piece here, and then this last red, assuming that no garbage has been left behind to block it, you can just sort of clear horizontally at your leisure in any of these spots here.
Yeah.
So that might just be the best way. But if you get a double blue and you just happen to clear this away and you want to clear these vertically, then you have that option too. So I think it just depends what you get, and you just let the pills decide how, because you have a lot of options here, the way this is endgame is set up. So yeah,
And again, just those are things I do get hung up on in games. So you'll probably see, you know, me thinking harder at end game because I know that's actually a hole in my speed running too, is making sure I'm not blocking possible ways of getting, efficient clears. So you'll probably see me play slower at the end, whereas other people, oh, I know where I want to go. I let the pills tell me, but I think I play a little bit more methodical at the end than I do at the beginning.
yeah, that's fair. Fair enough. Yeah, let's see how this plays out, because I think it's gonna go pretty well here. You've even set up for this uh vertical situation as well. You're not really getting what you want, but you'll get a drop for this, and it'll be a triple. And yeah, now this end game looks pretty solid. Now you could fat log the whole everything if you wanted, and you cover it over. So when I saw this, I didn't realize why you did it like this, and I thought it was just kind of, oh, I just happened to get the double yellows after this mist drop. But you were obviously trying to umbrella the
Yes, I
garbage.
am.
I just realized that now. I don't know why I didn't think of that. But yeah,
But then
definitely fun
I
to clear it
clear it
away.
anyway, and then it happens like that. That's what I'm trying to say is like I come up with these plays, and then I'm like, I can go without, right? And
Yeah, I was
then
gonna
get
say. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
so then get buried for it. So
Yeah, and I was like, even taking this garbage here was fine because you can still get it all vertically, and then this happens. So at this stage, I think you're definitely at the part where you can worry less about combos and just get to those, because you're really at the end here, but you end up getting the pieces you need. It doesn't end up being too big of a deal, making a big difference, and you'll clear it out. So yeah, I
yep.
mean, your end game was just like, you had a great end game position anyway, and you could have resolved it any number of ways based on what you got. So that's what you want to have. That's definitely Snipe's philosophy of having multiple plans. Is just sort of like, you can adapt to anything that ends up happening. If you
Hmm.
get blocked one way, you can just take it a different way. So yeah, your end game was awesome there. And you end up winning, even though she was. I mean, Penguin really came
She
back
got
to
it back.
five viruses, but
Hmm.
yeah, I think you just like, you made a lot more reasonable, like practical combos there, and that just kept the pressure on her, and she could not she just could not pressure you back as much as possible. That's the biggest thing about keeping up with combos. If you fall behind, then you're just going to receive more garbage as a result. So,
Yep.
uh, yeah, that was, I think, a big part of starting this comeback. That shift in the play that you were talking about.
Hmm.
Alrighty, let's keep going here. Um, yeah, this opening is kind of interesting. What's your thought?
Instantly six, uh, column six with the red going down and yellow to prepare for the
Vertically?
horizontal. Yeah.
Oh wow, instantly. That's your instant choice, is to do that. I
Yeah.
didn't even see that option, to be honest. I was thinking like, maybe we could be safe over here in 1-2. Maybe we could maybe we could even just tuck like this. And put things underneath. Tucking is not, especially if you aren't doing it quickly, but
Oh, I
also
wouldn't tuck. I
probably
know
just
myself
this,
better.
or even better, just putting it on top, something like this, and we have a double setup going now all of a sudden.
Oh, that's a better one. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if the my only issue here is, like, we want to clear these blues horizontally too. I mean, there's a lot of horizontal. You can't get all of these horizontally. It's just not going to be possible. Something has to clear to make way for something else. So,
Yep.
I guess this makes sense, because if you clear these reds out, you get some sort of blue cross situation. Now you're ready to take this horizontally. But I'm in my like, when I'm doing opening, I'm mostly looking to set myself up to get the first combo as soon as possible. And honestly, that probably means just putting it on top like that, so that if
And
I get
again,
the
for
run.
that one, it's also giving me access to those blues underneath. And
Yeah,
like if I'm setting up for a horizontal now, I have those two other columns of blues. So it gives me access to something more than I have currently.
that's true. If you do it this way, then blues can go on top if you're pretty much all you want, and it's good. It's just that it'll be really hard to, once you do that, you're committing to this horizontal, and it might be
Yes,
really difficult to do that, especially when you need blue
correct.
to even open it up in the first place. So, I mean, personally, I just want to do the simple first combo option as much as I possibly can, but this could be worth investing in your future here to get it. I just think it might be a little too difficult to get to this point. Maybe a little
Yeah.
too ambitious, but
I wonder what I do.
if you do get there, it'll work out, and we'll see what you do.
Yeah.
You do the exact
I
move you
know
said.
myself. So I was thinking, wow.
That's amazing. I love that because I tried to do that when I was doing my analysis stream with Luke, and I don't think I ever did the opening move I said I would do, even one time.
Yeah.
So that's
Nope.
a huge call out on yourself that you were able to make. So good read, good self read.
Yeah.
And then we just keep going here.
Now that yellow wasn't
Nobody's
a
made a combo
misplay.
yet, and you end up getting that horizontal that you talked about because you prioritized, I guess, opening it up, knowing that you had to get it. And you end up getting the first combo for that. Pangolin just could not find anything. I guess we just did not get yellow reds at all, and it led to a did we? Like, I'm trying to think. No, not really. Just got a lot
Mm-mm.
of double yellows as it turns out,
We did get one yellow red, but
but not enough to combo. So
yeah,
yeah,
correct.
yeah. I like that you prioritize getting rid of that spire and the 3 there. That's good. Finding a sweet T in the center, and now you're just sort of taking this early momentum that you got and running with it. And Pangolin just cannot get any combos started on her side of things. Finally does something, and oh,
You didn't like that one?
I wanted this, not that. I wanted this so
You
we
wanted
could
the
get the
combo?
sweet combo. Yeah, I
But
want to
then
keep the pressure
it
going.
it would have taken the some of the blues from column 8.
It would have, but I mean, you're getting a combo, so that's probably fine. And then your yellow blue after that could go, and you'll probably put it double here like this. Not like that. Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting how to keyboard like this, and you'll get the double here. But even if
Yeah,
you had
I did.
taken the horizontal, you would have had a double going up like that and falling into the horizontal as well
That's true.
down to here.
No,
So
that's good.
you would have had a lot of sweet doubles, and I don't think the column 8 would have been as big of an issue. But I mean, that again, that's a small thing. At some point, you do have to worry about the smaller things like that, but it's not
Hmm.
a catastrophic mistake or anything. I just hate missing combo opportunities. But like I was saying before, you that oh my god, oh my god, hold on. How? Okay, so obviously this was
Double cross?
intentional. Obviously, this was to hopefully get this. When you got this double blue, were you imagining a
Yes.
double cross? You really were seeing that far ahead?
Well, but not in that way. I was thinking I would have to take one and then get the other. But I
Okay.
mean, it's always a possibility that you're setting up two different cross clears and the powers that be make it that they both hit at the same time.
Yeah, that's true.
It's always a possibility.
Yeah. Well, you're lucky you got
But I did
the
take,
red garbage here as well.
yeah.
And then had to put this off to the side just to get it. That is so sick. I don't think I've ever seen a double cross like that.
I just love calling it double
A
cross.
double
Like that's
cross, yeah.
the
Sick.
double cross.
The double cross. I mean, that's what it's called now. That's the
Yeah.
perfect name. That was so sick. I didn't see that until it had happened. I was like, oh my! I saw the red, and then the blue went away too, and it freaked me out. Amazing. Whose side are you on? The double
Double cross.
cross. Okay, awesome. I love it.
And then waiting for the fat log there.
Yeah, but you end up getting a drop T. Like, yeah, you had a secondary
Now, part
setup
of
that
that
looked
was
like it.
because I had a bad play, honestly. So I didn't intend to play it the way it did, but that was like way, way far back. But I didn't intend to play it, so that was another one where I'm like, okay, I have to make something out of this to
Right.
drop this blue. So
Yeah, for sure. I think like you're in a really good spot now. That double cross really I can't stop saying it. It's so cool. That double cross like really set you up. It really got you back any missed opportunity you had with those doubles that we were talking about, and now Penguin's in such an awful spot. I feel like if I look over and I see the board up this high, I'm probably just trying to combo anything I can and just see if we can really do as much damage as possible. Maybe even get a top out. But even if we
yeah,
don't, like just really damage the board as much as possible. Maybe delay the counter punch as much as we can.
yeah. I sometimes feel like this game is won and lost in the first few pills, honestly,
It definitely
because
can be, yeah.
yeah,
I don't. I mean, this traffic light's not great, but we're dealing with it as best as possible. Not getting great pills here.
Should have
Unfortunately,
set up
breaking
for,
setups. I mean,
yeah,
if as soon as
combos
we've
here.
had this many, this is always such a paradox to me when you start getting the double yell, like a double run or something, or just a run of any
Hmm.
pill, and you're like, I want to start just slamming down doubles in place and just empty doubling over and over again. But like eventually the run's gonna stop, and you don't want to put yourself in a position where like you have like a setup halfway done, and then you
Hmm.
have to you have to do something different. So you're like, how long will the run end? So you don't take the combo right away, and then it keeps coming, and then you feel like you've missed the opportunity. But if
Yep.
you start now, when will the run end? What if now is when it ends, and I'm wasting my time and I'm making a bad move? But
Yep.
yeah, so
I'm
I
there with you.
and then you do a double, and then you don't get the last double yellow that you need to complete the
Right?
setup. Of course,
That's the
as it
perfect
always turns
paradox.
out. Yeah.
Like the doc knows, he's like, "Oh, you wanted one more? Too bad."
Yeah, but you'll get it eventually and you'll take it here, so that's good. But we're not really progressing because this keeps happening to us. But now this will be good. We'll get a double here. That's some scary garbage, so hopefully we'll just... Yep, you'll see the combo. It's perfect. I like that empty horizontal clear. I was wondering if you would do that. I think it's just good to just keep the center down. You have other combo opportunities anyway.
And I've actually been trying to do that more. When you had your analysis with Rob, that was one thing that he had a huge takeaway of that, and I've been trying to make a conscious effort when I've been playing of doing that even line, and it has been helping out in numerous ways. I wish I could put words to those ways, but I feel like it is very helpful to do and to keep mindful of.
Yeah, and it can be hard to see in the moment, but yeah, little board health clears like that are definitely a lot more impactful than you might think. Even as it's happening, it might not seem like much, but it has a continuous effect as the game progresses, and just keeps you out of these like bad situations that sometimes an errant piece of garbage can put you in. You just avoid those possibilities completely, and it just leaves you with a clean board, which is the best place to be.
And it can be, something as simple as just like bringing it down that little bit. There's a lot of stress that goes from being, 4 lines down to 5 lines down. There's a big jump of like, oh, I'm getting closer to the top of my board, and so like just bringing it down just a little bit um, allows you just that peace that you don't get when you hop up that next level.
Right, exactly. All right, let's keep it moving here. Not a lot of yellow on this board, so you're just making tees where you can. Yeah, like I mean, you're having some trouble like getting down the board because you're just not getting the right colors, but you're making combos, and honestly, you've put Peglin in such a rough position that it's not.
But look at her clear, like she
Yeah,
just took down a massive clear too.
that's true, but she's still quite far up the board. The board is uneven. She's just kind of scrapping together what she can. This is sort of the position you found yourself in the first couple rounds,
Hmm.
and now you sort of flip the script. Oh, nice. And then yeah, we'll finally get this center setup because that would have been
Oh, I should have tucked it.
tucked. Which one? Oh, I
Tucked
see.
that
I
red.
see. You're talking about
Hmm.
red yellow here. That's really hard to see in the moment, though. I don't blame you for a second for
But
taking
that would have
this, but
been that would
that
have
would have
been
been
better.
actually because of this blue. I don't think you even get the triple for doing that. It might have been a little
No.
bit better because the blue will hang it on top and the
Well,
yellow
it would
will
have dropped the
stay.
yellows eventually, like
Yeah, then
set up
you're
for
set. You're set up for another combo for sure. So there's that definitely. But I mean, I wouldn't worry too much about not seeing that
yeah,
in the moment. Like it's this clear's too obvious, and it's not that much worse to miss this. But it would have been really cool if you'd seen it for
yeah,
sure. I like how you dashed all the way over to the right for this, and then
well, I
you
when
saw
I
the D
see that,
sandwich. I love that
yeah,
too. That's huge.
yeah,
I've been talking about that for a while now. Just seeing, especially on the edges, seeing these sandwich opportunities to bring your board down and bring your edges down, especially when they're uneven, is
hmm,
so huge, and you'll get a double out of it too. Well, in this case, you'll
yep,
get even more. We'll see.
yeah.
I'm shared a second here when you get this red blue.
Spoilers, love. Spoilers.
I know there's a combo opportunity there, but maybe you'll get a double yellow. Oh, you'll just manufacture, and that's. I miss those kinds of setups a lot. That was a really good find where you just sort of place this on top, knowing you're gonna
That
just
can be
get a
blocked too, just not directly.
it.
But
Yeah,
because I didn't have like some room next to it, she could have dropped some trash in column 5 that would have stopped me from getting that.
that's true. But then you have the backup plan to just like get blues here and drop it down. So it's
True.
really
True.
good. And honestly, I just like it's important to just even be aware of these opportunities. Like I don't think I ever think to manufacture teas like this. It's just never like, especially with like the tuck. I think that's huge. I never the fact that I don't see those is actually kind of alarming to me. I feel like I don't look for T's and L's enough as it is. So, yeah, that's a good
I'm
setup to
always
know. Jeez.
always looking.
And if you ever get a double blue on here, you'll get even more combo opportunity. If you
Mm-hmm.
then tuck it, that's sick. I love that.
Yep.
All right, cool. Let's keep going.
What I should have done was laid those. Well, I get it anyway, so it's
Yeah.
all good.
And you'll get the
Just
double
different
red
ways
for
of
this
doing
horizontal that was right here. That was really good. And now we're basically in endgame here, but you're so far ahead. I feel like you're just what I like to call walking it in. Like you're just really like it's hard to imagine how the comeback from here. Not that it's impossible, but as long as you play correctly and smart, like I don't really see how the comeback is possible at this point. Yep, you're making the combos you need to make,
Look at this.
and you.
Ah, she didn't let me have it. I think
He did not
I
let
I
you have it.
remember feeling really bad. Like that was my combo.
Yeah, you were like, oh come on.
Oh man.
I have to ask, like in Columbus, I love like when I was, especially in my own matches for sure, but in other people's too. I noticed that you were getting very excited for combos and setups and stuff. I could hear
Mhm.
you from the crowd, and it wasn't distracting or anything, but
Yeah.
I almost love, like I actually really liked it, and I was like, man, I wish I could just bring Betty home so I could have somebody cheering for me just sitting at my computer when I get these huge setups. I would feel so much better. That would do wonders for my self esteem, I have to say. Um,
Well, and
you
and here's the thing is I'm just a big fan of everybody. Like
Oh
everybody has
yeah.
something that they bring to this that like whenever I'm watching, I'm just like, oh, like you could hear me rooting for, something Snipe was doing and something that Swang was doing the very next move to kind of do that counter punch. And I see it and it's so much fun to watch. Like other people, they're like, oh, I really like watching as much as I like playing, and sure, fine. But I enjoy it so much more just being a bystander to see all these amazing things people put together.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I'm just a big fan of everybody. So yes, if you have a little Betty, maybe that's a marketing deal. Like I'll have a little Betty that you can squeeze, and it just will say, "Great, wonderful combo." Like maybe that's a thing. I don't know.
I think you just need to have a stream alert for your own stream of you going, "Look at this." That would be
Wonderful.
amazing. I would love that. That should I mean, you have some pretty sweet like Betty Boop sub alerts and all that stuff, but if you could find a way, I'm sure you just pull it from the VOD. I need that in my life. And if you don't do it, I will. I'm stealing your idea,
Okay.
even though it was kind of my idea, but that doesn't
Yeah, it
matter.
was
It just
always
needs to
yours.
happen, and someone needs to realize this awesome idea. Anyway, uh, I was gonna ask, like, do you do that at home when you're comp playing your own games?
You know what? I am very negative about my own style of play, and I
Oh,
try not to be, but
yeah,
it is a thing. Like I'm everybody's cheerleader except for myself, which
yeah.
that's a personality trait. But I see the value in my game after the fact, not normally during.
Yeah, well, I mean, they say everybody's their own biggest critic, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's totally normal. Everyone is going to be more critical of themselves than others,
Yep.
for one reason or another. So that makes sense. Yeah, it's fortunate that we didn't get to see this play out because you were going to get.
It's gonna be
I think
great.
you had a clear that's going to become a
Yeah, it
quad.
was
That's
gonna
going to
be a
be a
T clear.
quintuple.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And then it would
Well,
have just left me set up everywhere I needed to be.
yeah, and then your end game would have been a piece of cake from there.
Yep.
Wow. All right, let's get into the last one, the decider. This
Probably
is
not
really
going to be
interesting.
as
We're
cool.
getting some interesting. Well, you never know. We'll see, but we get some interesting openings tonight. I think this one's pretty interesting too, and I feel like after the last couple that we've done, I feel like I know what the Betty move is, but I'm gonna let you
Yeah.
tell me.
Oh, you don't want to test your betting knowledge here?
Okay,
I
I think she's going like this. That's what I think. I think she's going for the horizontal potential fat log opportunity.
yeah,
Tell me.
that's kind of my instant move. Yep.
Yeah.
What would you do? I don't
I
see
don't
it
know. I think
otherwise.
that's probably the best move. Actually, I don't see any other
Or
move I could
actually,
do.
now looking at this, maybe even a 7-8 where the yellow is in 7 and the 8
Oh, I
has
think
the
this
red
is
and
I think this
planning for
is
that.
I think that might be another one of those ambitious moves because I know you're trying to set up the red for later, but
I don't
um
think I'm doing it in this case. If I do, I
yeah,
mean, call me out on it here.
that'll come much later. But yeah, I think your initial instinct was definitely the best one. Something like this, and then you know, or even maybe potentially here, just because it might be difficult
Oh,
to
uh-huh.
set up horizontally. I don't know. No, you're probably right. It's probably better to just connect them together and then you get a safe clear over here if you get the chance. So it's not. It's a weird opening anyway. I actually don't like this
Yeah.
board at all, but I think that's probably the best way to do. Let's see what you and Pangolin do here. Okay, so you did the
Oh,
move that I thought. So that's
yeah.
amazing. I feel a little accomplished. I feel like I've proven my
You
betting
now have
knowledge.
unlocked Betty, yes.
Yeah. Penguin's move's interesting. I don't super love that just because it's gonna block this red here, and it's gonna leave two yellow columns together when it clears out. Even if she red yellows here, it's just I don't know.
Hmm.
Like you're gonna get if you get a third yellow red, you're gonna get a fat log, and it's gonna be amazing, and she's gonna get
Hmm.
nothing. So let's see how this
We'll see.
plays out. Well, you just take it. That's probably the safe thing to do. Oh wow, I didn't even
Yep.
think of that. You just immediately and the red blue is the perfect to connect all of that together. I was not even thinking about that. But you found first combo really effectively by doing that. That's huge for you. Because she's definitely not even close. And now she gets horizontal covered on both sides. This is the
Oh,
power of
I didn't
first
even notice
combo.
that.
Yeah,
Dang.
I just saw it happen to and I had to point that out. Like this is what you want. This is the dream. This is why first combo, like, yeah, you could get a charity combo on yourself, or you could do something like this and it could be a huge problem for your opponent. So you always got to take that chance. And now you're just building up here for another double. Doing the practical boring thing. We'd love to see it. Maybe looking for another opportunity. I think that's totally fine. Yeah.
I think I probably should have put that in the 4-5, but I mean, either way,
You well, I mean, this is a higher point on the board, but I
yeah,
think you're right if only because um this requires a yellow blue to make a combo like this.
right.
And I think that's what you meant because even if you
Yes.
don't, even if your next pill is yellow red or even this double yellow that's coming, you can just do that and the blues will make a
Yep.
combo anyway. So you just, yeah, this combo has a very strict dependency in
And
this
that
intensity.
also takes away the blues from clearing the blue underneath it now.
Right, exactly. That's a good point.
So,
I mean, that's a little, that's more of a speed run thing, but it is relevant. It can be for sure. Whoa. Whoa. I love it. Because, I mean, did you have a better choice than that? I don't know. But
there was nowhere to put it, but it was just like I feel like I get over ambitious and over try to over combo. Jay actually often calls me on it, and he's like over combo or like overkill is what he calls it.
overkill.
And so he tries to call me on it, so I recognize it in my play and try to not do it anymore. He used to call me on it a lot. So.
Yeah, when I see stuff like that, I just call it ambitious. That's sort of my term for like when things
Mhm.
get or maybe a little too far.
Yeah,
Maybe like a little too yeah, ambitious, I guess. But yeah, I mean, that's not to say that going for that kind of thing is always wrong. I mean, again, it's a risk reward thing and it's just knowing when you can be that when it's correct to be ambitious and when it's not. And you know, that's going to be again just contextual. Greedy. Yeah, that's the other term for it. Greedy, for sure. But it's not always greedy is contextual. Like it's only greedy, you know, based on how difficult it's going to be to get that combo resolved. So if you have a lot of options and a lot of different pills that you can use to get this combo completed, then maybe it's not so greedy. But if it's like I need a double yellow or else this blue red I put on top of the single yellow piece is going to just be in the way for the rest of the game, that maybe is probably not an ambitious move that we should be thinking about.
Well, what about playing dirty, right? Cap hands, like call out to cap hands. She always told me play dirty, and so isn't trying to combo your opponent to death? Isn't that a little bit dirty? I don't know.
Yeah,
So
well, I
anyway,
mean,
I
if
get it.
yeah, if you want to play really dirty, you could start employing those disgusting umbrella strats I've heard so much about. But
Yes.
all right, let's keep going here. We'll get the obvious double. That's good. Setting up. Oh, oh! I really thought because I when you purposely dropped this blue here, I thought, oh, she's setting up for the horizontal. So I thought your next move was definitely going to be, ooh, ooh,
Yeah,
ooh, definitely going to
the
be
horizontal.
the horizontal, and then the double blue is coming. But we ended up doing a drop here. I don't know if. Yeah, I feel like. Well, now you're just gonna do something even cooler. So what do I know? Maybe that was your plan the whole time.
Nope, nope. I can't claim that one. No.
Now we're going for whoa, so many different ideas here, but you'll end up getting yeah. You're getting the red yellows you need for sure. I'm
Am I
kind of
gonna
thinking
tuck this
about.
one? Oh no.
Oh
Okay.
wow, whoa! You went for the double blue and then you didn't take it, or the blue L and then you didn't take it.
Yep.
Oh man, I definitely. Well, you would have gotten blocked anyway, but you didn't know that was gonna happen. Okay, I like clearing off the left here, just try to even things out. Yellow blue would be amazing, and you're just sort of committing to it, and you end up getting it, so that's awesome. It's too bad that your blue horizontal is good, but it's getting covered right now.
And look at that even
Here.
top line though.
Yep, it is even. Well, no, that's true. That's totally true. That is a big deal. We're doing a setup here. We'll send the garbage back, and now you're gonna kind of get. She kind of counterpunched you, but your board was even, so it didn't really hurt you too badly as much as it could have.
Now I should have started building for a job clear in one with the blues and
Oh,
yellows.
I didn't. Oh, you mean like to get so that this horizontal would have made a combo? You mean?
Correct.
Well, I mean, if you put a blue yellow like this, oh yeah, it would have hung over, and you
I
would
would
have
have
been able
done,
to
yeah,
put reds under. You weren't
because
dependent on the
I
double
literally
red.
wasted two of them. So
Well, you're making a setup here, so it's not a total waste or anything. But yeah, we're really hoping for blues now. I don't know what it is, but I feel like blue is always the color you need that disappoints you. It's always the one where like when you need it most, it doesn't come. I don't know if there's anything scientific to that, but I superstitiously believe that.
hey, I'm on that superstition train too because yeah, I'm always asking for blues in my head.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep, I
I
like the
like that
double
play.
yeah, the double yellow on the right for sure. Finding doubles and staying in it. And yeah, I think that's a big shift from what you were doing in the beginning. I feel
Hmm.
like maybe you just needed a couple of those games for Pangolin to punish you for your greedy ambitious plays. And then you were
My
like, okay,
hubris.
your hubris, yes. And yeah, once you sort of, learned the hard way for 2 crowns, then you sort of mentally reset and started playing more solid, more practically.
It was definitely actually a because I think this was the first match I had against somebody who was from the immunity pool, and so I think it was
Mm.
definitely a reset of realizing I know how to play this game, no matter like my performance at Torg withstanding. Like I
Oh,
I can play this,
do you think
and so
it?
I think that yeah
You think it mentally affected you the fact that you were facing a player like Pangolin?
yeah
Oh, okay, interesting. Especially after
like
the way Immunity Pool went, yeah, I could understand that
yeah
for sure.
it is definitely a mental game to me more than it is a am I playing the way I need to. So
But I also think that when you play against like lower skilled players and you get away with certain things because they don't pressure you like someone like Pangolin might, you start to almost develop bad habits and you start thinking,
oh, you
oh
do
yeah,
definitely.
it's okay to do this. Like these huge setups, they're super cool and I get quads and it's so good. But then when you play against a better player like Pangolin who will pressure you, it reminds you like, oh yeah, actually this isn't really a good move. I'm just getting away with it against people who don't know how to punish it, and I really need to unlearn that habit.
But I will say, to me, I'm not discounting anybody anymore. Like, before I
Right.
used to be like, okay, yeah, I probably have this, and now I don't. I don't say that about near anybody anymore.
Right. No, and I mean that's not that's not a targeted statement by any means. And it's
Yeah,
not to say that you are playing poorly against people on purpose. I just mean that
yeah,
like when you are against a player who can't punish you the way that Pangolin can for doing
yeah.
certain things, you get away with them, and then in your head you
And then
think
you
that
learn,
that move
yeah,
is good. I can do that safely, and that's a good thing to do when it's really not.
yep, agreed. How am I gonna do this? Oh, I remember this. I remember. I
Well,
remember.
I guess you answered my question. I'm still trying to figure it out, and I really can't. This end game is
Okay,
like kind of wild.
yeah, it's gonna be great.
I mean, we could just play it out then at this point. The suspense is
Yeah,
killing me.
yeah.
So you'll get a double here. I feel like I'm playing like Hangman or something, and
Because
like
you
the
see
letters are
it,
slowly
right?
filling. No, I don't, and I'm waiting for the part where
You
it's
don't see
completed
it?
enough.
Wow, come on.
Oh, I do see it. You're gonna,
There you
yeah,
go.
I do see it. So yeah, you're gonna. I'm assuming you're gonna clear the blues out here, and then maybe get like a blue red. It'll clear these reds. These blues fall down.
Oh, no, wrong. Oh,
Wrong.
yes, yes. No, no, no. You are absolutely right.
Okay, I was
You're
like, what? That's
sorry.
definitely right. Is there another way
I
to do
didn't.
it I'm not
I didn't
seeing?
see the colors pop up on the screen yet, and so I was like,
Oh, okay.
I was thinking you were thinking the other blues. So no, you're good.
Okay, let's let's
Let's
watch it
watch
play
it.
out. If you ever get blues, okay, you did get the blue there, but you delayed. You didn't open it up. Is it because of
That
this?
was a misplay,
Oh, okay. You just yeah.
and
Well, I mean,
I'm just waiting for it.
oh, now you're getting fancy. Oh, you just wanted to swag there.
Well, no, I didn't want to, but I don't know why I didn't choose to clear the blues. I think I thought if I played it that way, it wouldn't clear one of the blues and that it would fall back. Like so I was just
Oh,
being
you were just
sure.
being 100% sure that you weren't
Yes.
accidentally gonna block your end game and
Yes.
potentially throw. Okay, that makes
Correct.
sense. Yeah. Uh,
Because it was so situational and I needed that exact, like setup. I definitely didn't want to like dig on or bury
yeah.
myself.
And I mean, I just assumed your combo brain took over. I surely shouldn't have. That was unfair of me. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But yeah, and then that was it. So yeah, I think we definitely saw like a shift in your decision making and the kinds of things you were going for.
Hmm.
Yeah, you really like in the last I mean the reverse view. I feel like it really came down to you like reeling in your ambition and just doing, especially at the beginning in the openings, just really going for the quick doubles and getting that early advantage, and then being able to hold on to it from there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what I take from this honestly is the playing cleanly and playing fast and efficient isn't making it any less of a beautiful game to play. And it's still it sets you up for some interesting stuff that happens. So I don't know. I feel like I need to take that to heart. I've already been trying to adjust accordingly with that.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Well, I think you did a great job of that here in this game, and obviously it netted you the win, and you moved on. And I think you ended up placing in third here, despite quote unquote not playing your best, so to speak. Uh,
Even in the
so
past few months.
humble brag. But yeah, this was a great match to watch. Honestly, I loved seeing like the comeback arc with your play. So that was awesome, and yeah, I think there was a lot to take away from it. So thanks for bringing us this game. Um,
Thank you, and for your time. It's been a long one, but I really appreciate your insight and just hearing your words. You're not called Coach Lev for nothing. So
Well, I mean, I would never call myself that, but I appreciate the I appreciate the moniker. Um, well, I mean, that's the whole match there. I think that that's pretty much covers it. But before we call it, I did just want to give you the last word here. If you have anything to say to the people, to the chat, to the world, the floor is yours.
I just want to take this moment to thank you everyone for continuing to play me, and I'm this good because I continue to play against wonderful opponents as yourselves. So I thank each and every one of you for what you've taught me in this game, and just keep at it. And I look forward to playing you again.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Well, I think that is going to cover it. Thanks everybody watching live and watching on YouTube. We will be back in 2025. This is going to be the last analysis for this year, but I plan to come back in the new year and keep this format rolling that I've had so much fun with, maybe with some new uh, some new additions and trying to make this a series, make this a thing. So I do plan to, have more people on, do some more analysis, put some more people on the spot with some awkward questions at the start. We'll see. But it's been a good time. Thank you everybody for coming out and watching live and on YouTube, like I said. And until next time, be safe, stay warm, and we will see you then. Take care, everybody.